I still got it. Yon go san ni ichi.
Konnichiwa!
San konnichiwa.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the exciting episode of Talk to Keki. We're back. I'm back from my little trip from Montreal. I got married.
Hokairi nasai. Omedetou gozaimasu.
Good shit. It was my spouse's birthday a couple days ago. So busy.
It was my spouse's birthday, so I locked her up for life. That bitch is stuck.
No. We did it the day before.
True.
We did all the activities the day before, so.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, anyway, I'm Matt, and to join me as always, my co-high, the man will yell at Angel for anything, as long as he's horny. Ethan, what's up?
Basically. Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka? Sounds like you are.
Yeah, everything's Daijobu here.
Everything is Daijobu. I'm tired of shit, buddy.
Yeah, we're all tired.
Oh, fuck. Hanging in there.
Yeah, I was glad I was able to catch up on shit due to the horrible Airbnb having only one good thing, and that was the Roku TV for Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that's solid, dude.
And someone left their login info. It's like, I won't mind.
Nah.
They're watching Dragon Ball, One Piece. Like, well, you're gonna add all this other stuff that you don't know.
Well, you just ruined their watching history.
I did, yeah, I did. They were on Overlord season 3. They're 2 episodes behind on Stepmother's my ex-girlfriend. It's like, oh well, I'm going ahead. So yeah, shit out of luck, pals.
Fucking idiot.
But yeah, so I was able to watch some stuff when we weren't going.
When you weren't going, are you frozen? Sounds like he's frozen, everybody. Because I'm trying to combine my waters. So that way I'm good. You there, Matt?
I'm here.
You froze. I didn't hear shit you said after you said I'm going to. You fucking just died. You died it.
You died too.
I mean, I was here, buddy.
No, you're not on my screen.
Shit, you Shindarude, buddy.
Yeah, well, we lost satellite for a little bit because thunderstorms was fucking crazy here.
That sucks, dicks, dude. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I have fucking. I have what's it called? Fiber. I can't imagine what my life would be like now without fiber. I really can't. I can't fathom it at all.
Well, I'm not doing Spectrum, so.
Fuck Spectrum.
So this is
As
better.
Jim Cornette says, "Fuck Spectrum."
Yeah, but like I said, I was able to watch some shit when we weren't walking around or going to comedy shows. So yeah, I was able to catch up outside of High Dive.
That's what's up, dude. Yeah, I'm always behind whenever I fucking go on vacation. Like, you're back. No, I'm not. I got another week to go so I can catch up on everything.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was like, well, the backlog wouldn't be as bad. So that was. Otherwise, we probably would wait till like a couple of days after.
Yeah. You know what I just realized? Shit. I just realized that I forgot to change the layout. So we're on somebody else's layout.
Yeah, I know. I see the TV party tonight thing.
Party tonight. I'm not familiar with whoever's. Oh wait, no. Here, brand. There we go. I can change the brand. I was like, can I change the brand in real time? I think I can, right? I think I can. Oh yeah, no, it's a drop down.
Tag. It says tag people.
I got it. No, there we go. There we go.
All right,
that's probably fucking Penis Wrinkle McGee. Fucking what's his dick?
Marte.
Geisha. It's fucking Geisha.
Oh hey, you said it, not me.
Fucking Geisha. There he goes.
What's his dick?
Marte.
Hey, you guys can hear the reiteration.
Fucking Geisha. There he goes.
Talk. Is it gonna be everyone?
You guys can hear the reiteration.
Yeah.
I can't
Marte,
do everyone.
you do it. Tag everyone. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just did everyone. All right, there we go. Nope. There we go. I can mute myself. There we go. So we're not fucking going crazy. Geisha, but Penis Wrinkle. All right. Hey, let's get the show on the road, bro, because we're fucking.
Let's get the show. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get the show.
Big Zo.
Alrighty. We got some announcements before we begin. The Detective is Already Dead has a season 2.
Woo!
I know. It better be good this time.
Like Ric Flair's Last Dance. Woo!
The dance that shouldn't have happened.
It should not have fucking happened. The rest of the card was solid though.
Yeah, just that still shouldn't have happened.
No. Goddamn it. Blame Conrad.
All right. So now we got some anime adaptation announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Days with My Stepsister.
Mm.
So it's like my stepmother's.
Dude, it looks like Marin. It looks like Marin became stepsisters with Gojo, and they like each other.
No, it's like with a different character.
Mm.
Trying to think of what the character. We have no release date yet, but knowing us, we're gonna watch it. Wouldn't you agree, Ethan?
Probably at this stage.
Oh yeah, we will watch it. Sasaki and Peeps is also again a TV anime. Let's read the synopsis.
All right.
Even though Sasaki's droll corporate life is constantly filled with work, it leaves him tired and unfulfilled at the end of every day. In search of some companionship to fill the emptiness in his life, he visits a pet shop on a whim, not realizing he's about to change his life forever. Rob Schneider is a high school girl, rated PG-13.
Oh, God.
No. After settling on an adorable bird and bringing it home, his new roommate reveals that it's actually an incredible sage from another world who promptly bestows Sasaki with supernatural powers, as well as the ability to cross between worlds. All Sasaki wants to do is use these newfound powers to live in peace and comfort, but there are more than a few colorful characters who might get in the way of that.
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Mm.
We got more. Saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement.
Yes, I saw that. That looks interesting.
That I will watch. And Dark Gathering gets a TV anime in 2023. They didn't say which season.
Mm.
Better not be winter because that's already jam-packed.
I know, dude. There's always one season that's fucking jam-packed. Well, I mean, summer's really
To
good.
be that one.
Come here. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Come here.
It's a kitty.
It's a kid. It's almost a year old. My friend hasn't fucking got her goddamn cat yet.
Next one is The Dangers in My Heart. Looks like it's just another rom-com.
Just another rom-com. Hey,
Another high school.
That's
what?
my alley. That's my alley, bro. You know me.
Exactly. And we're going to end the news part with some sad news. The solo leveling manhwa artist Soon Rakjan died. He passed away at 37 years old.
I don't think there's a soul in Japan that cares.
For the Korean people.
37? Fuck.
Yeah, cerebral hemorrhage, man.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so that happened on July 23rd.
God damn. Oh, somebody, when I see some shit like that, I think to myself, like, somebody had to voodoo his ass. Somebody fucking talked to a witch doctor, fucking got one of those, like, dolls, and fucking just voodooed his ass, dude.
Oh, yeah. Right. But yeah, anyway, condolence to his friends, family, loved ones.
Indeed.
It's still a shame.
His legacy and his legacy will still live on because Solo Leveling is one of the most hypest anime that we've heard about recently, and we're very much looking forward to the adaptation that comes out in 2023.
Yeah, even my friends tell me like, "Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's so good." It's like, well, I plan to, so don't
I've had
worry.
a buddy for a long time because he read the manga. He's like, I swear to God, at least it's been almost 2 years. He's like, you got to see Solo Leveling. You got to do Solo Leveling. I was like, dude, I don't really read mangas. He's like, you got to read this one. I'm like, all right. I never did.
We'll get to it.
I mean, it's been hot for a while.
Right. Alrighty. Go ahead with your reviews.
Oh, I forgot that I start. God damn it. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I'm not ready.
You're never prepared.
No, I'm not ready. All right. We'll go with Ruby. So, I find myself torn because, I really like Ruby. I really do like it. But it's just like, this is like semi-canon where they go over the beginning of the series, and at the beginning, the first 3 episodes or so, and then or first 2.5 episodes, and then by the third episode, you get the what the series is truly about. And that's fine and dandy, but it's like in my head, like I know they're not gonna bring this back. I don't think they're gonna basically tell everybody to go look at the series, and the series looks like shit, and I don't want to look at it. So like I'm torn because I'm watching a decent story, but it's not. It's like I know already. Like there's not gonna be a season 2. I don't believe. So I'm kind of like
Well, it depends.
I'm enjoying Ruby, dude. Like if you watch, bless you, if you watched this like version of Ruby, like I think you would have enjoyed it. Seriously, I think you really would have enjoyed it. Basically, the story is Ruby is in. So, from what did I explain from the last time? I explained that they ended up going into a dream because of some grim that basically goes into your soul and like projects like your most inner like demons and shit and takes over you basically and can kill you through your dreams. And so they in the end Weiss gets caught up in that at the end of episode 3. Episode 4, they go Ruby goes in and she's trying to get there, and basically the end of episode 4 is where she fights Weiss and they have a battle. So the beginning of episode 5, she continues to fight Weiss, and basically she is struggling. She can't fight Weiss. The sensei realizes that. I don't know if you're familiar with the sensei. She uses it. Yeah, so the sensei that uses a dream catcher staff. She recognizes this. I don't remember her name, but she recognizes this and pulls her out of the dream. And she's like, oh, yeah, she's upset and stuff. And she's like, it's fine, you'll have to go back in, no problem, tell us exactly what you saw. So she goes over every single thing. As you see, the cat is chilling.
Yeah,
chilling. Anyway, so she goes over everything that's done or that happened, gives a layout. Basically, the deeper she gets in the city, the deeper she gets into Weiss's like soul, into her heart and her mind and stuff for the dream. And so Blake and Yang decide to go in there together because they feel like, oh, we'll help you out since you were struggling the first time, and that's why we're teammates, blah, 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 blah. And so they go in, and using their teamwork, they get farther than they ever have gotten before. And I need to find this clip. I really need to find this clip and show it to you, Matt, because there's a point in all right, Kitty, go. All right, cool. I don't have to worry about petting lights off. Anyway, there's a point in the town where Ruby's by herself. They split up, and Ruby's by herself, and she encounters I don't know how to pronounce her name. First off, let me find her name, and I don't remember how to pronounce it. Ruby. Oh no, I didn't want to freaking click on. I don't want to click that I watched an episode. Son of a fucking bitch.
Oh yes, you did.
I didn't watch episode 6 yet. It's not out. Priya. So Priya and her gang. Let me delete this entry. Delete activity. All right, cool. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so Ruby finds a imitation of Priya, and Priya and her team decide they jump into this beautiful song. Like it's a really gorgeous song, and it's in English. And the song is basically like, because again, Ruby is based off of the different queens of Disney, their versions of the queens, like Snow White, what's her face, like again, I'm not familiar with all the queens, but they are based on all the queens of Disney. And so it starts going into the one part from the one movie. I forget because I'm not good with this type of shit, but like Mirror Mirror on the Wall, who's the prettiest of them all, whatever the fuck. I think that's Snow White. It is Snow White, yeah. So basically the song is I look in the mirror, and like basically mirror on the wall, who's the loneliest of them all? I am. And it touches Ruby. But when you really think about it, that song is a perpetuation of Weiss's feelings, that despite the fact that she's striving to be the head of the Weiss family, of the Schnee family, despite the fact that she got into this school, she's constantly fighting her family, and despite the fact that she has wonderful girls around her with Weiss, Yang, and Blake, I'm sorry, with Blake, Ruby, and Yang, she feels lonely. And it's a great encapsulation of the real heart of Weiss, that she feels alone in those instances. Anyway, so basically the episode goes, they are being chased around the city by some drones or whatever the fuck, some like robots, and Yang is like, hey, and Yang and Ruby are like, hey, why don't we just play stupid and we'll get in the castle that way easier. So they give themselves up, and Blake basically trails as like, trailer, so she doesn't get caught, so she can get into the castle. So she does successfully get in the castle. You see the different what's it called, I forget his name now, the butler of Weiss, but anyway, he basically plays the 7 dwarves: sleepy, angry, hungry, whatever the fuck they are. So we see Sleepy Dwarf and we see Grumpy Dwarf, and they basically duped the Sleepy Dwarf into thinking, oh yeah, we're still in here. So basically they use a coin, and let me go back on the coins. When they are thrown into the dream, you basically get these coins that can turn into anything you need it to turn into, and they're in essence of the sensei. And so they use a coin to make it a marker. Ruby escapes with Blake, and they go traversing in the castle, and the episode ends with Blake and Ruby facing Weiss in some like weird, I guess, cellar type of area. But regardless, the animation's been great, the music has been great, the story is solid, and that's without having ever seen the series. So for people that have seen the series and are invested in the series, there must be even a greater investment in the series as a whole. So good for those people. But yeah, it's a solid show. It's not going to be a world beater, but it's great in its own way. So that's that. Next is, we'll go with Bakumatsu Bad Boys. What happened in Bakumatsu now? Fuck, I don't even remember what the fuck happened in Bakumatsu at this stage. Basically, from what I do remember, the gang, I'm fucking drawing a blank now on what the fuck happened in Bakumatsu. I'm completely drawing a blank. And it's not to say that Bakumatsu was bad. It's just, it's been so long since I've seen it, like last Friday, and it's already Thursday as we record. What the fuck? I know that Akira, she ends up facing the main villain, I guess, in essence, that they've been trying to get after. And during this process, we find out basically that the villain isn't necessarily a villain per se. Like, he is still a villain, but basically tries to recruit Akira into like making an allegiance between the Shigunsumi and the and whatever this guy's organization is. Basically, he says that the real bad guys are like these extremists that come from the same region he comes from, but he doesn't like the way their tactics either, and he feels that their tactics are fucking up his plans. And so they have a common interest to want to get rid of this like terrorism group, the demon masks. So what's it called? Akira like takes some time to think, whatever the case is. Now I remember. So the beginning of the episode, let me go back. At the beginning of the episode, we see the 2 guys. Are they here? No. So we see basically the old guy and the fat guy, and they get shit faced and they're asleep. And so these guys, these 3 assassins that pretended to be like new recruits, they came in and they were basically hidden spies from the group. And so they go in, they're about to kill them, and they end up getting saved by everyone else in the gang. And they try to capture them. They capture one guy, but the other 2 escape. And so they try to extract information. They get a little bit of information out of the guy. What's his face does? Where's his name? Sakuya gets the information from the guy. And so, again, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but basically the older man that uses a bayonet, he was a former, I guess, like slumlord or something, and his main network was using orphan kids. And we find out that orphan kids, because again, these people that were trying to assassinate them, they had these like specialty like swords that are like enchanted with dark powers or whatever the fuck. And so we find out that the people that are getting these swords are getting these swords through the children of the slums. And so he uses his connections to find out all the data. He finds out that the one of the main people that's distributing it is one of his brothers, basically. And so he asks his brother to like take them to their leader. Take me to your leader. No. So they end up going to, I guess, some like random abandoned place, and they get into a fight. And they, it's back and forth samurai battle, so it's pretty cool. And they get the upper hand. And earlier in the episode, we see what's it called, Sakuya get into a fight with like a lieutenant from the demon masks, and he escapes. The lieutenant escapes. Sakuya doesn't touch him, and he goes on his day. The lieutenant comes to the battle where Ichiban Boshi and the two other samurai are with him. He gets into the battle. Ichiban Boshi recognizes the sword that the lieutenant is using as the same sword of his family's assassin. So he chases after him, leaves the three other like guys that were there to face the other two Shinsengumi. And so he goes after the guy, battles him briefly, and is able to demask him. And much to his shock, the lieutenant is his brother that he thought was dead. So that was a good twist, and that's where the episode ends off.
Right.
I didn't do this justice right now explaining it, but it's a really solid series. If you enjoy a little bit of comedy, if you enjoy samurai action with samurai swords, and you enjoy magical powers along the way, and then again, just a little bit of darkness, because again, we have basically every single death row person that was recruited has their own like sad story or dark story, so you do get that sprinkle of darkness. It's not anything super major, but it adds to the story. It's not bad, so I'm not doing it justice the way that I'm describing it, but it was good.
Excellent.
Next is My Isekai Life. What is happening on my
Tell me about your life.
My Isekai? Well, I'm not in an Isekai.
Tell me about it.
My Isekai life has been funny. So we leave off. I believe I left off during our last podcast with. I'm sorry, we did skip a week. Our last podcast is basically he arrives into this town after the mysterious. After passing this mysterious village that's shrouded in like fog, he arrives into the town of Ricardo, and he finds that the town is basically emblazoned in ice and winter in the middle of summer. Super odd. And so everyone is basically saying like they weren't prepared for this. This came out of nowhere. They're running out of wood. And the thing that Ricardo is known for, that he was basically going there for, is for their a renowned restaurant, this like world renowned restaurant. So he eats the food. He basically goes to like the woods, and with using his OP powers, he chops up like 3/4 of the forest in like 3 hours. It was incredible. And he gets the firewood, and he's like, will this wood do? And he's like, oh, this wood is too wet. And then he goes, okay. So he dries the wood with his slimes. He's like, will this wood do? They're like, it's too dry. So he's like, all right, slimes, go ahead and put some moisture in the wood. Puts the moisture in. He's like, will this wood do? And they're like, oh, it's perfect. Like, where did you get this wood? He's like, don't worry about it. And he's like, slimes, you have more wood? And they just, and there's a fucking fuck ton of wood. And they're like, oh, put your moisture on it, slime. So they're good. And they're like, oh, this is fabulous. So he gets the food, he eats the food, and it's great food, right? He's like, oh, this is really good. Like, I understand why people recommended you. And the chef is like, nah, this ain't my best food. And he's like, basically started giving him different tasks that have been plaguing the restaurant and the village. And so, what's his face? Yuji was like, okay. He goes on these tasks, easily handles them, comes back. He has another meal. The meal is even better. And he's like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. I'm so glad I did this. And the chef is like, it's still not perfect. He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, there are these bears basically that are eating up all the good spices. And he's like, leave it to me. So he goes back out a third time, and he kills all the fucking monsters in the area. And upon doing this, he discovers a magic stone. Which magic stones are kind of like a catalyst of the show, because they basically provide anomalies or disruptions in magic, etc. And so using the sylph, because he's friends with a sylph, a forest sylph, they basically go around the entirety of like the forest that hasn't been cut up for wood, and they find 108 different stones. So using his magical powers, he basically defuses the stones, but there's still snow. And he asked the sylph, like, hey, will these magic stones cause like snow? They're like, yeah, whenever there's extreme magical disruption in the area, it'll cause weather phenomenon, and snow would be one of them. And they mentioned like basically whenever magic is drained in an area, you find snow. When there's too much magic, a magic potent area, you'll see like volcanoes and fire and shit. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So they basically get to the center. They find that these stones encapsulate the entire circumference of the forest. They deactivate all 108 stones. They get to the center, and Yuji is like, there's nothing that's visible, but something feels off. And so basically, he nukes the fucking forest. He nukes the middle of the forest, and you see this giant fucking crater. And at the center of the crater is a bunker. And so he opens the bunker. That's where the episode I think 4 ends, is the bunker. Episode 5, they open up the bunker. Him, Yuji, and the slimes, they jump into the bunker, and they find basically these machines that are like otherworldly tech. Like not otherworldly, but they haven't seen this tech because it's like, middle age, like a lot of isekais are middle-aged times. But there's tech there making these stones. And he sees 2 people, they're all frantic, and they see basically that Yuji's explosion caused the fucking tech to be fucked up and it's no longer working. So they report over to whoever their commander is. And basically Yuji sends his slimes, go after them, find out where they're going, etc. I'm going to go back up to the surface and I'll follow you as I, using my freaking magic, I can trace you and I'll follow your direction. So he's on the thing, they go on their way, and the slimes end up back in the village, and their leader is the mayor from episode 4 of the creepy village. And so Yuji's like, oh, okay, well, this isn't good. So he starts listening in, and there's plans of like the magic stones or whatever. Basically, they want to kill everybody. Long story short, in some capacity, they want to kill everybody. So Yuji's like, yeah, let's not do that. So they go out, and the mayor forms a search party, sends them out into the forest to try and find the culprit of the explosion. Yuji captures a couple of them, and they immediately Hitler themselves. They immediately Nazi themselves. They kill themselves with fucking whatever, some magical fucking thing. Like, how like the Nazis killed themselves with cyanide when they got caught? Yeah, so they did that shit to themselves. They like uttered some magic phrase and blood came out their fucking face and they died. And so he captures all of them, and all of them do this. And he's like, well, fuck, this is wild. So while he's doing this, there's still his slimes in like their location. And the slimes find a library with all their text of like whatever association or religion these people are. So the slimes eat up all the books so they can look at them later. They find a treasury room full of gold and treasures. They eat all the treasures. And then by this point, they report to the main villain, like, hey, like all of our shit is gone. And he's like, well, this guy must know about our deathly secret to destroy the world. So let's just do it now. And so in order to activate it, everybody has to die. And so they all kill themselves. And this
well, everyone's got to die.
Everyone's got to die. So they all kill themselves. And then this crazy power happens where like basically this explosion happens underground, and there's like a fissure that happens across the town, and a humongous explosion happens. A green death just explodes, right? Like powerful explosion. Yuji's like, oh well, fuck, I gotta contain this. So he puts like 3 barriers down immediately, gets his slimes out of there. He's trying to contain the barriers, but the explosion is too powerful. And so he comes up on his own volition. He's like, he starts going through his like magical book, like screen of like all these different barriers. And he's like, well, let's just make this super barrier. So he makes this super barrier. And he's trying to contain the explosion, you literally see his MP. And this is one of the unique things about the show. You can go into negative MP. And so this guy, like, it looks like a fucking it looks like a car, like, what's it called? Like meter. It's just like 20,000, 21,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, and just going down. And his base MP is, I think, like 7,000. And by the time he finishes containing the fucking magic, he's about to die, and he's at negative 49,000 and some change for MP, which is pretty wild. Again, the principle of you going into negative MP. And so saves the day. He goes back home. He's tired. Wakes up the next day. They're like, hey, you're the savior of the town. We're throwing you a party. Cool. He goes to the party, drinks a little bit. And the chef is like, hey, thanks to you, we were able to get these herbs. So here's our most supreme dish. And he eats the food. And the food, literally, he has a psychedelic experience eating the food. He has a psychedelic experience and goes into a food coma immediately. And you see tears in his eyes. And the chef is like, I've never seen anybody cry over my food. I've never seen somebody go into a coma that quick over my food. And he sleeps the whole night, wakes up the next morning, all's well that ends well, and he goes on his way. So very fun, very, very fun. I really like Isekai Life because it's a really fun series. Boruto. I should have started with Boruto because Boruto's been quite lame lately. This last episode of Boruto, well, the 2 episodes. The episode before last was I will say that they do a decent they do decent portions when they try to pull different fillers now. Like, you know how like filler in Naruto would be really random? Filler in
Yeah.
Boruto is sometimes random, but when they do filler, what they like to do, which I don't mind, is they like to pull keys from other filler. So if you've seen the filler, you would recognize it. So in 250, I believe 259, the Uzumaki family goes to an onsen, and it's the same onsen that you see in episode, I think it's like 108 through like 112 or something, that Mirai, Kakashi, and Guy Sensei go to, and they end up like, you know, it's a family thing, and there's some like ghosts or whatever the fuck. It's cute, but whatever. 260 of Boruto, which is the last episode that just dropped, features Naruto and Kakashi. And so basically, Kakashi basically brings Boruto along with him on a shopping trip, and he treats him to some dango. And Boruto's like, this is fucking lame. Like, what the fuck, bro? And so they observe a argument between two like pastry families or whatever, like the dango family and like a pastry family. And so he tries to get to the bottom of it, and we find out that the two old men, because there's two old men, they're basically heads of the firework committee of the village. And so there's supposed to be some sort of what's it called, festival in the village. And we find out also, which you wouldn't know this throughout the regular series, is that Konoha is now, the Hidden Leaf is split into two different parts now. You have the old city, which I imagine is like, you know, with new buildings, or sorry, you have the new city that is full of skyscrapers and like the town center, etc. And then you have the old city, and the old city is kind of like the old village, where you have like the more traditional old school stuff. I know it's boring, I get you.
No, I'm just tired.
And so they split the village up, which you wouldn't have known. I thought that was an interesting key. But anyway, we get to the story, long story short. And so the what's it called, the old men used to be best friends, and they're heads of the firework committee. One guy wants to put a fireworks show for the new city, but the old city's always been in charge of it. They get into some bullshit argument, and we find out basically that the grandchildren of the old men, one grandson, are going to get married, but they can't tell their grandfathers they're going to get married until they've resolved their family issues. And so basically Boruto takes it upon himself to try and help, brings them all together. Nothing works, and they're like, fuck you, no, fuck you, no, we're gonna put our shit's gonna be better. Kakashi's like, this is fucking lame. And by the way, I forgot to mention, Kakashi at the beginning of the episode is reading Makeout Tactics again, right? And so he mentions about, oh, you know, it's sad, you know, people that can't be in love. Like, I read about that in Makeout Tactics Volume 5. And Boruto's like, well, what happened at the end of Volume 5? He's like, to be honest, I don't know. I've never read through the end of Volume 5 because I really wanted to read the original copy. The original copy was so bad that people passed out, and the publishing company had to take it off of the bookshelves. That's how bad it was, sexual, whatever the case is. And so the granddaughter is like, hey, funny you should say that. And she pulls out an original copy of that he was looking for. She's like, I've had this and I can't sell it. I was going to throw it away. Do you want it? And he's like, oh. And Boris was like, nope, don't give it to him until he helps you. So that was cute. Anyway, so Kakashi, in order to get his book, was like, I got an idea. So he basically dresses up in his cameraman gimmick, where he doesn't have his mask and everything. You see his full face, and he basically switches out the fireworks. And you know, they switch out the fireworks, as I said, and they fire them off. They're all great fireworks, but nobody wins. There's a loser. And so again, they get back to the conference room inside of the Hokage's office, and everyone's pissed off, yelling at each other again. And basically the what's it called? Their grandparents, the grandchildren say, like, we can't get married if you guys are like this, and they didn't know, blah blah blah. You know, it's one of those cute things where it's like, I'm so sorry, let's be friends, okay. And that was
okay.
That was Boruto. And then finally, Black Summoner. So Black Summoner has been really good. Black Summoner is basically harem without the sex and without the main character wanting to fuck his slave.
So it's Demon Kid Academy.
Not quite. I wouldn't say that.
Like he doesn't want to fuck him, and it's not.
He doesn't want to fuck. He's struggling. Like, he wants to fuck, but he knows like he shouldn't fuck.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to contain himself. Okay, never mind then.
He has self-restraint, unlike fucking Michio, which we'll talk about later.
Oh no, yeah, that.
He has self-restraint. And so the episode starts off basically, it's been a month since Kelvin bought his slave, Phil. It's been a month. And so, let me back that up. Basically, in the previous episode, he's able to buy Phil. And Phil she was given to the slave trader, and the slave trader was excited because she's a half elf. Half elves are rare. He was going to get a lot of money. But Phil, little did he know, had a curse on her that if anybody touches her, they get burned alive. And so the slave trader's pissed off. He's like, I can't get anybody, blah, 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 blah. And Kelvin sees this, and Kelvin asks Melfina, the goddess who he has contracted, like, hey, what do I got to do to break this curse? And she's like, oh, just use your fucking your extra points and get like the like priest like white priest skill or some shit. Excuse me. So he does, buys Ephil and treats her immediately, right? And everything's well, they're all good, whatever. They all sleep in the same bed, so it's a little awkward because he doesn't want to fuck, but she's hot. And so next episode comes, and it's been a month. I dropped my phone. It's been a month since Ephil and Kelvin have been together. Ephil uses her extra skills besides the ones that Kelvin made her pick out. Melfina and Kelvin were like, you can pick out what you want to be. So she ends up being a seamstress, which can be useful, and she ends up being an archer, which is very useful in their battles. And she has like fire magic. I guess she's like has an affinity with fire magic, and so she's like shooting these fucking fire arrows, which nobody I guess can shoot. I guess it's a special thing. So good for her. Anyway, they complete a bunch of quests. They're one quest away from joining rank. So basically, Ephil will be a B rank adventurer, and Kelvin will be an A rank adventurer. And Angie, who's the receptionist at the guild, is like, hey, why don't we all go on like a date? Right? And Kelvin's like, all right, fine, whatever. So they all go out the next day, and you see beautiful Ephil, and you see Angie. She's kawaii too. And Kelvin's just Kelvin. He's cool, whatever. So they go on a date. They go to a pastry shop. They begin to eat the pastries. And Ephil's like, let me feed you. Say, ah. And Angie's like, nope, I'm not going to lose to you. Say, ah. And Kelvin's all embarrassed and shit, like, no, whatever, we're in public. And everyone's like, oh, look at him. The new adventure is fucking two hoes. Ora, ora. But all of a sudden, this fucking fat prince that looks like Farquhar.
Anyway, this fat fuck comes in.
Anyway, this fat fuck that looks like Lord Farquhar comes into the picture, and he's got two fucking buff guys as his bodyguards, and he talks shit. He's like, romance shouldn't be done in public by peasants. And he's like, I'll let you off if you give me your two girls. They look very pretty. And Kelvin's like, fuck you mean, bro? And so he fucking basically one-shots his two fucking attendants, right? And he looks at them. He's like, oh, they're only D rank. They're fucking ass. And he looks down at the prince, and he fucking holds him down with gravity magic. And he's like, who the fuck are you? And he starts explaining. He's like, why are you here? And he's like, oh, I came to see a really powerful adventurer to make him serve under me because I suck as a prince. And he's like, oh, that powerful adventurer is me. He's like, why don't you join me? He's like, nope, fuck you, kid. And he basically fucking shoves him into the ground. He's like, fuck you, guy. So he shoves him into the ground. He's like, come on, let's go get more sweets. Okay. So they go get more sweets. The next day, before that, which is really interesting. That night, he's sleeping in bed, and Ephil is awake, and Ephil's like, Koshijin-sama, are you awake? And Kelvin's like, yeah, what's up? You can't sleep? And she's like, no, it's not that, whatever. And they start talking, and then Ephil just comes out, and she's like, you don't see me as a woman. Why don't you see me as a woman? And then Kelvin's like, no, you're not, like, I do see you as a woman, but like, I don't want to have sex with you. And she's like, oh, you should have sex with the person that you love. And she's like, oh, but I do love you. And he's like, huh? And she's like, no, I do love you. You've taken care of me. You saved me. I live a comfortable life under you. You taught me human touch. How can I not love you? Like, I want to fuck you. And she starts crying and everything. And Kelvin's like, it's okay. You're the most prettiest woman that I know. I look at you and I get, just all this nice shit. And that makes F feel better. And Kelvin basically resigns himself. He's like, hey, I'm going to buy a house and we're going to get separate rooms because this temptation is too much. And so That's how that ends. She goes to sleep all happy and well. They don't have sex. All's well that ends well. Next day, the guild calls him for some assistance, and at first, Kelvin's like, I don't know, whatever. Basically, he's told that there's some sort of demon, in like some hidden bunker, some hidden cave, and that he's and the guild master was like, hey, I wasn't gonna call you, but I heard that you met our prince, and it's almost become an international incident. So, and Kelvin's like, I'm so sorry, I'll do it. And so he goes into this like special like dungeon cave thing that's hidden, and we find out from Melfina. Oh, and let me back up real quick before we get to the end of the show. Melfina basically leaves Kelvin for a day on the day that he went on a date, and so she goes over to some church that's on the same planet and speaks to some priestess, and basically we find out in the previous episode that she knows, and she's the one who reincarnated the current warriors, the current heroes. There's 4 heroes in this like universe, I guess, and they're all solid, but they're not as powerful as Kelvin. But they're all solid, and basically she tells them like, hey, there's a sinister force in the west. Go over to the west and avoid this town, because she wants to avoid having Kelvin meet the isekai genes, etc. And so we find out during an interaction with Melfina and Kelvin, like, hey, they're good, they're solid, but you guys are way better. Like, I wish they were half as talented as you. Like, the Demon Lord would stand no chance. And so as they're going into this cave, Melfina warns them like, hey, a demon, the shittiest demon is a rank B monster, like equivalent. Like, so it's not shit. You're not gonna be facing nobody. So he goes into this cave, and we did get a preview of this as a post credit, like episode 2 or 3 or some shit. I don't know. But anyway, he goes into the cave. There's a bunch of skulls, and you see this demon there, and you see a demon girl in chains. And we basically find out that the demon that's there introduces himself as an archdemon, which is a level S fucking issue, rank S issue. And so Kelvin's like, who's the girl? And they're like, oh, it's the Demon Lord's daughter. And Melfina's like, I didn't know the Demon Lord had a daughter. What the fuck? And so Kelvin's like, we didn't know the Demon Lord's name is Gerard, by the way. No, Gerard is the black coat. Who the fuck is the it's a Spanish name. Gustav. Yeah, the Demon Lord Gustav. Mao Gustav. And so like we didn't know Mao Gustav had a child. And the Demon Lord is like, yeah, he had a lot of enemies, and this was an illegitimate child, and so he buried her away. And so basically the Archdemon wants to eat Kelvin so he can absorb his power. But not only the power, he wants to absorb Kelvin's form as human, so that way he can unlock the chains from the demon princess, because the demon princess's chains can only be unlocked by a human. And then he wants to devour the demon princess and gain her power so he can become the demon lord. And so immediately they get into a battle. Kelvin's struggling early, but the thing about Kelvin, which is unique, is Kelvin, he's again OP as shit. And so when he faces guys that are pretty good and he has trouble with them and he has a tough battle with them, Kelvin like gets a boner. He gets fucking excited. He's like, I can't wait. Like, I may die. This is fucking great. This is tits. I want to fucking battle. Like, he's a battle junkie. And so that's where the episode ends, with like this sinister, like crazy fucking look on his face. Like, I'm gonna fucking fight you. Y'all can't see me, like, who are listening on the audio, but I got
He's
this
like rubbing the hands together.
in my hands, like, ooh, somebody's gonna fucking die, motherfucker. Anyway,
right.
So that's how that episode ends. And I think I'm done.
Alrighty, 33 minutes later.
And I didn't do a good job explaining a couple of the series, but again,
it's gonna be the same thing for me. So don't even
dude, I'm having fun with the series that you're not watching, other than Boruto. Boruto's been ass this season. So besides Boruto, I've had fun with all my series. Ruby has been solid for what it's worth. Bakumatsu has been solid for what it's worth. Black Summoner is a low-key favorite of mine that may make top 10. We'll see. And what was the other one? Isekai is another solid one, very fun. That'll probably be in my honorable mentions at minimum as well. So I'm having a good time with the ones that I'm not watching with you.
Alrighty. All right, my turn again, I guess. All right. Devil's up. Oh god, yeah, no. Talking about Boruto does that.
Fuck, I know. I tell you what.
All right, Devil's a part-timer season 2. We picked up where we left off from the last 2 episodes. Mao, Emmy, they're on the date though with the baby Alice Ramis. And and Emmy's just in her head like, why does Mao give a shit about her? You know, we're not the real parents. You know, she's the hero, he's the demon king, she wants to kill him. But yeah, it's more of we get a little more about Mao's backstory. Like, he was saved by some angel when he wasn't a king or anything like that. And like the power that Alice has, it reminds her of that angel that saved them. So that's why Emmy's like, you son of a bitch, you knew, you fucker. Yeah, and she also has this crystal of this relic from the Tree of Life. And that's why our antagonist right now, Gabriel, wants her back to help replenish the Tree of Life. And he's stronger than both of these two. So he beats the crap out of Mao and Emmy for a bit. And the baby just yells at Gabriel like, you're a meaty. He's like, oh, I'm a good guy though. like you're making me sound like a bad guy. Like you are. Like, that's mean. It's like, you know what, fine. Like, I will pick you up in the morning. I'll let you spend one day with her, or I'm gonna collect her. Either I take her or I take Emmy's sword. Either way, I'm gonna cover both of them. I can take one now. I'll come back later.
But I'm gonna get them both.
But I'm getting them both. So they're like, fuck it. Like, all right, we're gonna leave for now. Like I said, you have until morning. Because once morning comes, ooh, I'm gonna take that kid. So, and then Mao's pretty much like, well, we're kind of fucked.
Right.
So, he suggests that Emmy and Alice, they stay the night. That way they're all together. That way when they wake up, they can fight Gabriel. So they had this nice moment where Alice has Emmy and Mao like right next to each other, sleeping on the floor. So they're all cuddling type of thing.
Aww.
And then Alice asks Mao to tell her a story. So, so he tells more about his past life, but he doesn't say it's himself. He just twists the words of angel and stuff like that around. But you know it's him. And it made Emmy like kind of like him a bit. Even when Alice was passed out, she was like trying to egg him on, like, so what happened next? That type of thing. It's like, it's none of your business. I know what you're talking about. It's fake. Stop it. Let's go to bed. And guess who's in the apartment at 5 a.m.? Gabriel.
Yeah, I was gonna say the guy who wants to.
Yeah, he's just laying there like this, like right next to them. As Abby woke up. Is like who does this? Like, who gets it? It's like, I wasn't bothering you. I was gonna wait till you wake up.
Creep.
I made sure to not bother. I'm not a dick like that. And now Mao wakes up, Alice wakes up, and it's like, oh, you guys are awake now. So what am I gonna take for the day? And they're saying none of it. They start fighting, and then Mao offers to say, you can cut off my head. How about that instead of taking Alice or Emmy's sword? It's like, good idea, but no. So he starts choking him out. And when Emmy drew a sword, Gabriel just slices that thing in half. Like, hey, you know my sword's better than yours, so step in line, bitch. And then Alice, she just gets up. She like confronts Gabriel right in front of him. The little jewel in her head starts glowing, and she fucking headbutts him out of the apartment. And my issue here was that the animation was shit in this fucking episode. Especially during the fights. Like, it made me hard to enjoy it. Like, season 1 was animated by White Fox, and now this one, fucking Studio 3HZ or whatever. So while that's going on, Emmy starts following Alice, where she kind of headbutted. I guess she fucking tackled Gabriel out of the apartment. So there's a hole in the apartment. Suzuno and Aisha, they're about to go like guard, but Gabriel's Gabriel's soldiers were blocking the area, and Lucifer's was like, all right, you guys are not gonna do shit. Just step aside. So remember, he because again, Lucifer was the first, like, the big angel until he got casted down. So he still has that rank despite being with Mao. It was like learn your fucking place trash ordeal. So that happened. Mal eventually starts to fight with Emmy, and Alice says, "I want to be with Mama and Papa forever." So this is goodbye for now. So she's here, disappear, glow yellow. So you don't know what happened. You don't know what happened to her.
Mhm.
Emmy's sword is restored. She slashes Gabriel's sword, makes him retreat for now. And you find out basically Alice, while she repaired Emmy's sword, she kind of merged with the sword in her armor. But Mao didn't know that. Emmy did, so did Chiho. Eventually, Alice revealed herself to Mao. Like, Papa. And Emmy's like, I only did that because I want to torture you a little longer, but she insisted on seeing you.
Aww.
I guess.
Aww.
And then there's an after credit with Gabriel talking to the angel who is the owner of the KFC, or JFC, sorry.
The JFC.
Yeah, so he's talking about like who stole this original crystal like that? Like, oh, it was Emmy's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. Shitty animation, not bad episode.
Cool.
Cool. All right, summertime rendering.
Wow, you're
Last
not
two episodes. What?
I said, wow, you're not closing with this?
You know what? I should. All right, I'll close.
I was gonna say you normally close with it. Why are you not?
You're right. I want to give them a chance. I'll go with something else. All right. Let's go with Shadow's House.
All right, go ahead.
My memory's gonna be a little shitty with this one.
Yeah, we all got one, like you said. I'm glad I got one, buddy. Thank you.
All right, episode 3, it was more of all the suits came out of the mansion. They were causing havoc. Some of the dolls had the suit sickness or being devoured by them and all this. And one of the dolls made a giant vacuum to suck, because basically you gotta clean or like vacuum that type of thing. Like you're like a maid, you dust and all that shit.
Okay,
that's how you get rid of them. So they got this giant vacuum to try to get rid of this big thing. People sucked that operate it, but Emilico, she's like, I'm gonna try it. She does eventually get it, and that shadow's gone. But one of the other dolls, I forgot which one. I think it was Jonathan. No, sorry, Sean. It was Sean. He saw that there was someone controlling the attic. So started to chase her, and she's gone. And when the suit was gone, the higher ups of that children's chamber, they blamed these twin dolls. So they took them away for punishment. And their punishment is make them explore the suit, get the sickness, rinse them out with the water so they feel better, and they force them back in. Like choking on the water, like making them like drink the water. They're good. Now get back in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so fuck that. But hold on. Now we're gonna go to today's episode. Basically, the higher ups, the star bearers of that chamber, they're blaming Kate. So Kate, basically, she fucking raised her. She has a short temper. She slammed her hand on the desk. Zar's yelling at him like, if Kate was in charge, she would handle all this fucking shit. You guys aren't doing anything. Go fuck yourself. Oh, that was like, damn. All right.
Okay then.
And then basically, you know what? Fine. If you think you can find the person that's causing this havoc, you do it.
I'll go fuck off.
Well, fine. You take your fucking doll. You go find her. If you're wrong, we get to punish you too. She's like, fine. All right. Oh, I got it.
Deal.
I'll be a star. I'll be a star bearer for this shit.
Deal, bitch.
Exactly. It was all this. And they talk about this doll or shadow who should not be mentioned, apparently. You don't know why yet, but...
they who shall not be mentioned.
Not Voldemort, fucking Christopher.
They who shall not be named. There we go. That's what I was looking for. They who shall not be named. But they named the perpetrator Master Rowe for some reason. But yeah, so now the chase is on. Will Kate and Emilico find this Master Robe, Lady Intruder? It is good stuff. Again, my memory is very fucking hazy, but yeah, it is fun. Hey, it happens.
Yeah, I know it happens indeed. All right, Isekai Oji-san.
All right.
Alrighty, I love the fucking uncle.
Well, I'm sure you do.
He talks about how much of a badass he is, but when he's showing his stuff, like, yeah, it's cool, but anything that happens after, fucking Takafumi gets disappointed by his actions. Like the tsundere elf, she's like, she wants to take the uncle out to dinner, but he chickens out. He's like, nope, I'm not doing this. Fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because again, he doesn't actually no, he doesn't know what a fucking tsundere is because he watches fucking Evangelion. Evangelion, the fucking Evangelion was out before he got isekai in that coma.
Right.
So even Takafumi's like, so you know who Asuka is, right? He's like, yes, but you don't know about the elf, who is clearly a fucking tsundere. Like, he's like, it's just not ringing a bell. So fuck you. That type of face. Like, what the shit? When we meet Takafumi's childhood friends, Sumika. She saw the uncle talking to people and she's like freaked out. And it's like, oh wait, it's the uncle. And she's trying to get Takafumi to kick him out, like get a real job that he shouldn't be sharing an apartment with you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, eventually they all warm up to each other. And then we go to the recent episode. Oji-san, his views are down on YouTube, and they sent him a letter saying you need these amount of views and these amount of subscribers, but in a couple of days, or we're terminating your channel.
Mm-hmm.
And Takafumi's like, why are we losing followers? And apparently we know why, because the fucking uncle is starting flame wars on his comment section in his damn videos. Every single one. Because he doesn't know how to handle trolls. And then Takafumi's like, what the fuck you doing? This is why you are not getting anything. So they need to learn their place. When shit, it's not CGI, it's legit, but they don't believe me. Because again, he does all these powers, but like, hey, it's CGI, man. Fuck this. It's fake.
Yeah, right.
So eventually he calms down. He's like, so what if I do ask for help? Like I explain the situation, like this is my job and all this. And Takafumi's like, do you know how trolls react? They're gonna devour you. They're gonna eat you alive. They're gonna use that as fuel to ridicule you. But no, it was all because this is 2018 at where they are. It's 2018, so of course there's still trolls around. But this around the time people were also supportive, so he got a shit ton of support. But he needs the views. So basically, Takafumi's like, I'm gonna go out real quick. And of course, Sumika, she comes in, and the uncle starts to talk to her. So tell me how you really feel about my nephew. It's like,
tell me how you really feel, bro.
And she says like, no, like I got not to talk to a guy whose romance experiences from fucking Sega games. So it's more of girl talk. So how does the uncle take this? He goes to the other room, and he transforms himself into the elf girl from the other world, saying that he is Takafumi's aunt. They're like, oh no, I'm the aunt. But Takafumi knows it's him because she doesn't know about his magic. So it's like, Uncle, is that you? That type of thing. But he's like, idea. Like, we're gonna stream right now. But wait, don't change. Stay as you are. Stay as this elf form. We're just gonna play games on the Sega Saturn. So basically, he tricked him into thinking that he was a VTuber and that female elf is his avatar. Because again, female avatars, they get more viewers, they get more subscribers. So he used that, and then he read the comments, and he read the title, and then the uncle got so deflated after, like, oh, we're only doing this because I was a female form. And he just starts transforming back to normal. And then fucking Sumika's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, where's the ant? Like, that is the ant. But yeah, that was the episode. It's really funny.
Yeah, Angel's been saying that it's a comedy basically.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Alrighty. Classroom the Elite Season 2.
All right, the fucking complicated math anime that I would.
No, that's done. That part's done.
Oh, okay. It's not complicated math anymore. What is it? Complicated science?
No. What?
I said, what is it? Complicated science now?
No. The next exams are basically the athletic festival.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing that.
That's why, I saw the previews and they were like in their gym uniforms, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah, Cool.
And so Ayana Koji tells Kei to basically disagree with Hori Kita on her plan. Because basically what Hori wanted to do was she wanted people to not compete in everything. Like, do what you're good at, but everything else, stay out of it. I don't care if it gives you extra points or it gives you extra grade. If you suck at it, you suck at it. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ayana Koji made Kei tell her, hey, like, your plan sucks and all this, even though Kei kind of agreed with her.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to cause conflict. He thinks there's a traitor in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And the traitor he knows it is, but no one else does. He does, is a Kushida, who is basically like this very friendly. She wants to be friends with everyone, but she has this like second two-faced side of her.
Oh God, she's one of those.
It only came out like twice, and Ayana Koji was the only one that spotted because he caught her when he was trying to give her the phone back. Like, well, this is interesting. Like, this is new.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing. So, Ayana Koji, he tells Hori this, like, this is what's going on. There's a traitor here. We think it's her. Because he thinks that she told Class C or basically the main antagonist of this one. What's his fucking name? Rokosuke. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong again. Ryugen. Basically, that's the main baddie for the season. Basically, he's like she leaked out the information to him. That's why he won the first exam, like very quickly, like less than a day. That's how we do, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically, then we go to the festival. Stuff is beginning. It's a catastrophe right away. Hori's ankle's fucked up because she bumped into one of the Class C students.
Mm-hmm.
But it was intentional. And basically, they're doing the games. Class D is losing. One of them gets pissed off because they think this is all set up. Ayana Koji knows this, so he says, "Just play it out." And he tells Kei, like, "I don't care that we win. It's more of to get the traitor to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can give a shit about these games. This is not important." And then what'd you call it? The big guy in Class D, he's fuming. He wants to fight Class C. He wants to beat the shit out of them for cheating and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And Hori tells him no, so he gets pissed and storms off.
Mm-hmm.
And Ayana Koji's like, "Aren't you gonna go get him?" And he's like, "No, he's not important right now." And then Ayana Koji with this blank stare is like, "Can you stop being useless for once?"
Oh, I saw that on the
yeah. So it's like, "When are you gonna stop being useless for a change?"
Yeah, and she's like, she's like, "Huh, Nani?"
Yeah, she's like, what? like, excuse me? You don't talk to me like this. You never talk to me like this.
That guy don't give a fuck.
And he said, use him like I use you. And it's like, oh, so he actually admits her that I been
okay.
So he's actually admitted her that he uses her because he never really said that to her. And in the season 1 finale, he said it to himself, like how he actually wants to be at the top of the class and he'll use anyone to get there. And he just kind of blurred that out to her. Like, he knows everyone's a fucking pawn to him. So she goes to go find him, and one of the classmates from Class C says, "We need to talk to you." And the person she bumped into from the C class, her ankle's fucking broken. Because Ryugen broke her ankle to make it seem like Hori did it. So yeah, he will hurt his classmates, does so for his personal gain, because he runs that whole classroom. Like in the first season, like he spent all his points on this desert island just to throw a party for people because he didn't care. He didn't fucking care. Like, fuck everyone. It was a big joke. It's a big joke to him. So I was like, okay, so like we'll keep it shush because if I tell your brother who's the student council president, you'll get expelled. So how about you give me a million points? I'll let it slide. And then she's like hesitates, like, well, the deal's off. And she's like, wait. So okay, no, it's not that now. It's 1,000,000 points, and I want you to grovel to me.
It's 1,000,000 points, and I want you to spread your legs.
Well, not that. Basically, yeah, he wants her to grovel and beg for forgiveness. And he's like, you know what? I'll wait till after the game's for your answer. Just think on it.
Bro, he's such a piece of shit.
He is, yeah.
That's a piece
Yeah.
of shit.
A lot of these classmates are a piece of shit. But I can't wait for reunion and Kochi to have that actual confrontation fight because he's again, Kochi just stay in the background.
Mm-hmm.
He's watching all this play out. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Because he made him think that Hori's the mastermind of everything when she's not.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Indeed. All right, now summertime rendering.
All right. My favorite listen for when you talk.
Yes, I'm going to talk about the last 2 episodes because it's very fucking crucial.
Bro, I hear they're fucking gory too. I seen that shit.
Yeah. Basically,
motherfuckers die.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We get where it left off. Shinpei woke up after being sniped from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "What the fuck happened?" But Ushio, she remembers. Yeah, Ushio has those memories too in every loop.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I saw what happened. Like, you just fucking got shot in the head and collapsed. Like, what the hell happened? So he didn't know. Like, I guess, but it wasn't a shadow bullet; it was a real bullet. And they find out it was from the fucking forearm guy. What was his name again?
He's not.
No. Shide. His name is Shide.
That means die.
Yeah. It means death. Death.
Yeah. The fuck?
Yeah, so that's what he means. So basically, he shot him with the real bullet after killing the old man in that last loop. And basically, that we find out there's a distance for if there's a shadow with a gun, there's a limit to the distance of where it reaches.
Mm-hmm.
Basically 50 meters. And if it past 50 meters, it's not going to hit. So
Goju meter.
So that was good info for long range weapons if they make a copy of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shide and Rain, they're talking about basically since they basically follow wherever he goes now. Basically, for him to die before a loop is if he died before the loop time happened. Like there's a loop that was like 7 o'clock. If he died before that time, there's no way for the loop back to it. That time's gone.
Man, I feel like these loops are so intricate where it's like, remember when you're like, how did he do it in episode like 1 or 2? And then now it's like, fuck, like you got to meet condition A and condition B in order for scenario A to happen. And if C and D happen, then you'll have scenario B. Like,
basically, they want to run out of loops and kill and to make him die as early as possible. So they're trying to make him have less options.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, yeah, that's smart. Basically, now we go to Shinpei wants to confront the shadows. Like basically, meet him at the schoolyard. We'll fight there.
Meet me in the schoolyard. How about that?
Exactly, that's what happens. So Shinpei and his crew is there. The shadow, Shide, Hain, the other shadows are there. Hey, they're back. We're gonna fight man to man. You and me, Shide. You and me. They watch. No one interferes. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Fucking the old man just gets the sniper, shoots one of the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it was the whole thing was to throw him off.
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking Shida, he grabs a gun, like makes a gun, tries to shoot the old man, but doesn't kill him. Just grazes his eye. Like, all right, so
did it pop out and you could use that to fucking go back in time too?
No. Hain's still alive.
Fuck.
But we know what Hain's other eye does.
I can't wait till this comes out on Disney Plus in America at some point.
What'd you call it? Hizuru discovered this when she was fighting Hain in the school hallway when she was trying to shoot her. Basically, the other eye predicts 2 seconds ahead. So that's why Hain is able to tell people like, "Hey, dodge this way or dodge that way."
Oh, it's like Rudy's eye from fucking what's it called? From
exactly. It's exactly Rudy's eye with the fucking
the demon
dragon
eye.
Girl with the husband with a giant fucking dick.
Bro, you know what that reminds me of?
What?
What's it called? Takeda and Urushi from fucking damn it. The one that we just saw last season.
Which one?
The coworker senpai.
Oh, Senpai's annoying.
Yeah,
that was last year. Damn,
bro, Takeda would fucking rip her insides out, bro. Same thing.
Like, why can't I be wet? My dick's the size of your thigh. Like, damn.
Oh my god! All right,
But
anyway,
no, all that's going on. Shadow Mio is fighting So and his sister Tokiko, sorry. As she's using the Shadow Babies to fight Shadow Mio. And basically, Mio, the Shadow Mio is trying to control the baby shadows, but again, the fact that Tokiko has a bond with those Shadow Babies, they listen to her more.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, Haynes sees this and she's like, "I trumped that shit. Fucking kill that bitch and her brothers.
Fuck that hoe.
And kill them. Basically, kill them right now." But Ushio overrode that. So Ushio has more shadow control than the fucking leader. So all that shit's going on. And basically, Ushio tries to fight Def.
Wait, are we still in the first episode?
Yes.
Oh my god! It just dawned on me. I was like, he's still talking. Is this the same?
Is it still the first episode?
Oh my god!
I'm getting to it. Yeah, Ushio starts to fight Shine and Hane. She lures them into the gym, and then you see gasoline poured on them, and fucking Shinpei lights them on fire because shadows are weak to fire.
Oh well, Eddie Kingston must be jealous.
Yeah, so Shine and Hane are screaming in pain, but fucking Shine, he's fucking indestructible. Like he's still burning. He's like glitching his words and all this. He fucking grabs Ushio and drags her into the fire. So like, you're gonna burn with me. Because if you die, that's it. You're dead. You don't come back.
Rip.
So while she's burning alive, but it turns out, yeah, it was a decoy. It was a decoy shadow. So fucking Ushio just punches him through the gut, like through his back.
Damn.
But he's not dead. He's not dead. I was like, come on!
What the fuck?
Yeah, Hane was able to grab him, and they escaped. And yeah, and while that happened, Shinpei got shot multiple times in the chest, but you find out he was wearing Kevlar. So all that happened, but there was a shadow left behind, Shadow Mio. She was stapled. She was nailed down with the nail gun. And now we're on last week's episode.
Golly.
Yeah, right. All that happened in that episode. Like, fuck.
But that sounded like 2 episodes worth.
Right? Fuck. Basically, Ushio could basically control the shadows, like make them, like basically reprogram them, essentially. So she got Shadow Mio on their side. So there's 2 shadows supported, Ushio and now Mio.
Against how many? Like 50?
What?
I was against how many? Like 50?
More, yeah.
At this stage, yeah.
Sound
fucking shadows at this stage.
But yeah, Hane's running low on shadows to make and all that shit. But yes, it's there. But what you call it? You see Hane and Shine, they're like wounded in the forest somewhere. It's like, don't worry, this next loop is gonna kill him, type of thing. So basically they're not in this episode after, like, basically they're getting their plan in motion. Like, all right, fine. We can do an episode about them at this point. And before that, though, like, you start seeing a little bit of Shine's actual form, but that's when Hane grabbed him. So, like, you don't know who he is yet. Like, who is this giant black guy with 4 arms, muscular?
I swear to God, you're gonna say, well, who is this giant black dick?
I got no dick. But yeah, all that happened. Shinpei's a little skeptical with the Shadow Mio. But again, she killed him in one of those loops in the beginning, so I can't blame him.
I can't even.
So basically, they want to go to the hospital to grab Ushio's dead body. That way, the Shadow Ushio can look at it and basically heal herself. But they go there, the body's gone. One of the shadows took it, and they start running after it. They go to the secret hallway. There's a hidden lair, and who's there? fucking Tokigo and So's father and Shadow Mother. So yeah, so basically, so the dad's trying to kill him, his own kids. But
That's
basically,
where we're at this stage.
Yep, but the Shadow Mew actually stops the father from doing it. Doesn't kill him though. Almost dead.
Koromogoroshi.
Yes, and then they're figuring out like how so if you guys didn't take it, who has the body? You find out it was the nurse of the Shadow Mother, who was in the wheelchair and all that shit. And she said basically, oh, by the way, Haynes says you guys are out of the contract. You guys can go fuck off. So the father and the mother are like, all right, we're gonna kill you guys too now. We're done using you. And then Shinpei tries to kill the nurse with the gun, but it doesn't reach it's past the 50 meters. So it's like shit. Then Ushio wanted to go run after them, and he's like, "Don't. That's what they want. You're gonna die if you do that. Let's actually think on this." And now, because of this, the father is now joining the group, Shinpei's group. Like after reflected, because basically, because all he did was all he cared for was his wife. It's like, and now the shadow wife, it's still the mother. Like you got your kids right there, like. Actually be it out to help people, be there for your actual family, be there for your children.
Fuck them kids.
Exactly. All that happened, and then Shinpei asked him, like, do you actually know the actual reveal of Shine? Like, do you know his identity? And he's like, actually, yes.
Funny you should say that.
Yeah, so he gives him the paperwork, and it's like this ancient guy, like one of the first sages from like back then, like the first doctor from like all these years ago.
It's like now it's getting into fucking magical fucking shit from like ancient times now and shit.
It's just him, like it's like the witch doctor or something like that. But yeah, it was him, and he also asked like, what does Hayne want? Like,
this almost doesn't feel like Japan. Like the way you describe it, like I think of like when you say like you just said witch doctor, and I was literally thinking like, oh, you're in like the Caribbean somewhere. This seems like a Caribbean horror story.
Well, yeah, they are on an island, so
yeah, they're on an island, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like not Okinawa, but like something similar.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize the amount of islands that fucking Japan has. Like
right?
I was listening to something on the news about China and Taiwan, and they were saying about how one of the missiles that China shot at in Taiwan's like area landed within like 50 miles of like Japan's easternmost island, which is like within actual visual distance of Taiwan. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize Japan had a territory that fucking far or that close to like China and Taiwan and shit. And I was like, wow. And then you realize like, oh yeah, Japan's got a fuck ton of islands, I guess, that they claim as their own. Anyway, real life application to that scenario. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Continue.
But yeah, and then the father talks about, are you sure you want to kill Hayne? Because remember, if she dies, all the shadows died. That means even Ushio. But
how did that stop him?
Because he loves Ushio.
But how are they going to stop him? He needs to be stopped. So you're literally like, oh, do you stop the guy who's causing your life to be absolutely miserable? Or do you try to like just be with a girl that's already dead?
Yeah, that's the thing. She even says, I'm okay with dying. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm already dead anyway. She's like, I'm dead anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Shinpei actually understands that. Like, he's faking to himself, like, this is the only way. Type of
okay,
thing.
good. I'm glad he's not gonna pussy out and be like, no, I can't kill you because I want to be with a dead girl.
No. Like he understands.
That's some Takemichi shit right there.
Yeah. And then he asks, like, okay, if Hayne doesn't die, what's her end game? And it's basically she wants to go home. And her home is like somewhere in the bottom of the ocean.
That's where her fucking body is.
Yeah. So. Basically, yeah, and how she is right now, her body is right now is that she can't make it down there, and it's a place where like they're like immortal and all this, and that's why the father was agreed to help tame the shadows in the first place, because basically he was promised to go down there with them, and he would take the wife and kids with him, like turn the kids into shadows and then take them all with him. And then the reveal of Shane and all that, and that was where it ended.
Whew.
Good shit. I love it.
Good shit, pal.
It's good shit.
It's good shit. Hey, one piece of news you didn't talk about during your news segment before we move on to our shared. I don't know if you noticed this. I did post it, and I didn't get traction in the group. Did you see Crunchyroll bought out Right Stuff Anime?
Did that just happen?
That happened today. Yeah, it broke around 1, almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern. Crunchyroll.
Oh shit! I didn't see that.
Yeah, Crunchyroll has bought out Right Stuff Anime. For those who aren't familiar with Right Stuff Anime, they are the premier anime vendors in the United States. Like any sort of manga, any discs,
or Blu-ray, you're not gonna find on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Figurines, various figurines and other anime merch. I know, for example, I had to buy Bunny Girl Senpai the movie. I had to buy Dreaming Girl through them because you couldn't find it. You couldn't find it in streaming unless you obviously went to the dark web. But I don't do the dark web, so I was like, I'm gonna spend $40 on a fucking DVD, and I did. I managed to get the Dragon Ball Z series, like all the movie series completely. I've got all 12 movies for I believe $50 or something like that when it was all said and done. Something like that. But anyway, yeah, so they're the premier animation destination for anime memorabilia, etc. And they were bought out by Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll said that they basically plan to integrate them as their premier vendor as well. It's pretty interesting considering because I am still a subscriber to their email chain, and there's constant issues about where you'll order something and that motherfucker won't ship for like 3 weeks, a month. They constantly have supply issues. They're based in Iowa. That they have manning issues, supply chain issues, etc. So perhaps that's what helped broker a deal, I guess, for them. But in any case, still major news for Crunchyroll and for American anime enthusiasts. Right Stuff is now owned by Crunchyroll.
Wonder how much that costs.
They didn't say, and I was kind of hoping, like, oh, we bought like a stock option for I don't know 20 million or whatever the fuck. It can't be that much, you don't think?
But
right?
yeah, Sony is buying stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I'm waiting for them to buy Netflix's anime library next.
Please do.
Yeah, please do. Fuck.
We don't want to wait 3 weeks for our fucking new episode.
Yeah, like do that. That way we can get Komi, Isekai Oji-san, Blue Period, and Violet Evergarden on Crunchyroll.
Oh yeah, dude.
Any other original stuff? Just get them all, please. Just buy this. Just buy the anime content.
Because Netflix is becoming way too like Netflix is why I don't have an HBO Max subscription because I'm not gonna pay like 2 over the top fucking subscriptions. I'm only gonna pay for one, and I'm gonna pay for Netflix because of the anime, basically.
Yeah, well, my spouse buys that. I buy HBO, so
there you go.
Yeah, we split certain stuff. So
HBO is the only login I don't have. Either I pay for a login or I have somebody that gives me different logins for certain things. HBO is the only one I don't own.
Yeah, HBO. I usually watch that one mostly. So
yeah,
that one and Hulu TV. So
yeah, I don't. Oh, we use Hulu TV for your live TV.
Yeah, I do it for live TV, and basically, if I miss an episode, I have to wait. I have to wait a year until the new season comes out to watch the old season.
Yeah.
I can just go to it and just right there, boom, easy.
24 hours. Yeah. No, I have Sling, so that's what I use for my live TV.
Right.
All right. Anyway, let's move on to seasonals. We're starting. Let's start off with the one that I dropped.
That started and dropped.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna start with that anyway. I was saying we should close with Engage Kiss this time.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, this one we added, like I said in the caption, one of us dropped it, and spoiler alert, it was Ethan.
Yup.
We're not going to review. We're just going to talk about it, the plot, and our thoughts. Really, the Maid I Hired Recently is suspicious.
Yup.
This again, it's whole a little etchy-ish. But again, since
at the end of episode 2, it was, but
I'm saying in general. But fucking Yuri is 6 or something. I don't know.
He's like 10, dude. I told Matt in our group chat, guys. To me, this felt like a very lower version of Duke of Death and His Maid. Like again, first things first, the principle of this little boy looking like fucking Hitler's wet dream of the perfect German child, that pisses me off. That pisses me off. You read that in the chat, but this is me verbalizing it. He looks like
I know, that's why it's funny. It's just funny when you verbalize
bro,
it.
Hitler is fucking ejaculating in his grave seeing this fucking little child. He loves
what?
He loves it. He loves it. He loves this fucking little German looking kid, right? Fucking, he has his suspenders and he's got his tall little tall little socks and his button up shirt and he's got his blonde hair with a tie and you know you expect him to yodel.
Yeah, I was expecting the Hitler from Jojo Rabbit to come out, his imaginary friend.
No, I mean you know, so one thing that always kind of irked me a little bit because this is based in Japan and he does not look like a Japanese kid whatsoever. Second thing, it threw me off. Like I thought
none of them have Japanese names.
They don't have Japanese names. And then the other thing that threw me off is like, what's it called? Well, another thing I should say, not the other thing. Another thing that threw me off is this is actually set in like a modern time. The kid gets a Switch. He gets a Nintendo Switch from this girl. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Wait, that doesn't match up with anything else that I'm seeing.
Yeah, like the clothes do not match this. The housing,
no, it doesn't, dude. And it's like,
that,
all right,
that seems like early 1900s or something.
Yeah, like you know, mid 50s, maybe. I don't know, something, you know. But so that threw me off again. And as Matt said, it's a very wholesome anime. If you want to see a wholesome anime, by all means, watch this. It's very wholesome. But the principle of the boy keep saying she's suspicious, she's suspicious, she's suspicious, she's suspicious. Okay, I don't mind that you think she's suspicious, but they should be giving the audience something.
Yeah, but you also like you shouldn't have to question every single thing.
Everything she does is suspicious.
She cooks. She stays up at night. She's up when I'm in bed.
It sounds like it sounds like a little boy learning about life. Like, why do these things happen? Because this is fucking adulthood. It's adulthood. That's why, kid.
Yeah, because you know his parents are dead. And they're not there to teach him.
I get that, but it's you know, and we see
also he should not be running the mansion by himself.
Yeah, like you know, there's oh shit, this is loosening. I thought it was tightening. Oops. Hopefully I don't fucking go off the air while I do this. Anyway, no, so another thing that threw me off is just you know, in episode 1, they give you an idea of what's her name again? Lilith going to the mansion, right? She gets a summons or she gets something, some sort of notice or something about him, and she dashes over immediately. Why is that? Like, did she know the family? And you know, there should be by this stage, there should be some sort of hint of something. You know, we can guess, and they may talk about it later in the future. Matt's gonna keep watching it. Right?
Yeah, it's more of I need to know. Like, all right, if I'm right, I'll be disappointed. If I'm wrong, then I'll be interested.
Yeah, so Matt's gonna keep watching. I'm not. I don't have the time for this because there's so many other things I want to do with my life. And so I was like, you know, those are just a few of the reasons why. And you know, on top of that, one of the things that makes Duke of Death so hilarious is the ecchi involved. They're the same age. And there's sexual tension amongst them, you know, obviously having legitimate
just the love between them.
They have legitimate feelings besides the sexual tension. They do have legitimate feelings, and it's really, really nice. The little boy, what's his name?
Yuri.
Yuri, Bochama. But that's another thing. Bochama. Like, it's the fact that he calls him Bochan, in essence. Like, that bothers me. And yeah, Yuri is not the same age as Lilith. Lilith has got to be what, 16, 17?
She's like 16.
And fucking how Yuri's like 10, if that. Yeah. You're like 10, if that. And so he says these flirty things, which are cute. And Lilith
like, I'm gonna take you, you're gonna be mine.
Yeah, and Lilith she blushes and then she runs away. Like, she legitimately like has feelings for Yuri, which is cute, but it's weird because he's 10 and she's older with 16 with tits the size of his head. And even if you wanted to make it like a hentai,
it's not Koikimo. Yeah, there's an age gap, but again, she was a consented adult. But he's not.
It's even worse than Koikimo, bro. Because at least Koikimo, she's a legal consenting age.
That's what I just said.
It's wrong, but she's of consenting age to fucking give it up. You know,
well, even then, they said they were gonna wait till she graduated. So
Yeah, but dude, no, I gave up.
but the stuff there. But again, he's 10.
I just can't,
But
dude. Like,
I'll
if
wait.
you're gonna let the 10-year-old boy have feelings, sexual or not, it should be with a character 11, no more than like 12 or 13, not fucking fully developed fucking Lilith with tits the size of his head.
But
And she has a G-string. We find at the end of the episode 2, she wears a G-string under her dress, her maid's dress.
Yeah, we will find. Let's see. I'm gonna wait till the other characters show up. If they're fucking unbearable, then I might call it quits. But we will see.
Shaking my head.
Shaking my head, indeed.
Hey, next episode. Now that you have another one that you're watching other than me, you can go first now.
Yeah, I guess.
No,
so that's why you did it.
No, I'll still go first because I never go first early, so I'll still go first. But it's equal now. We're on equal terms.
Couple of cuckoos.
Sure.
All right. Fuck, where were we?
Yeah, like what happened in these 2 weeks?
I know.
Oh, I know what happened in these 2 weeks.
I know. The other one. The first one was about Nagi failing the test.
Yes. So Nagi takes his midterms, and because of all the fun he's been having, he places 13th. Not first, second, or third, 13th. And
Hiro is back on top.
Yeah, and Hiro's back on top, and this plunges Nagi into deep depression.
Yeah, because basically people are talking about it now. Like, oh, he just got lucky. He's not really smart.
He's never been in anything but second place or first place before in his entire life.
And now he thinks Hiro doesn't want to talk to him anymore because he felt like he failed her.
And she kind of does say that.
We'll get to that because that was near the end.
No, that's the end. No, I'm saying, but you kind of noticed that, like, he tries.
Like, she gives him the cold shoulder,
or gives him the cold shoulder, ignores him, and Nagi's completely devastated. He's extremely depressed, and Erica doesn't give a fuck. Erica's like, oh, when are you gonna make dinner?
After that, but then she peps him up.
Yeah, so I was gonna get to that. So like, when are you gonna make dinner? And then fucking it pisses off Nagi because Nagi's so depressed. And then they kind of have like this back and forth between each other where Nagi basically says like,
I was having fun. It's your fault.
It's your fault. Yeah, I was having too much fun. Like, I care about my studies. I don't care about any of this other bullshit. And Erica basically says like, hey, like, no matter what, 13th is still really good. You're still a genius. And no matter whether you're first or whether you're 13th or whether you're 242nd, there's a reason 242nd comes into play. Whether you're 240 your Nagi's always going to be Nagi. I'm always going to like you for you.
And that actually snaps him out of it.
It snaps him out of it, and he feels better. And he goes to school, and not Erica.
Well, first of all, during the study session, Hiro doesn't show up.
But he's
no, she does. She does for a bit.
Oh yeah, she does.
She's at the door. Well, first she was going to text saying she was going to be late.
Yeah.
And then she overhears them talking.
Yeah.
Like about how they live together. Like they live together.
No, she didn't hear that. She basically just said like,
but it's just more of how they're acting. Like she sees.
But yeah, basically how they're acting and how close they are. And Hiro realizes this, and she decides to go away. Nagi's still upset, like, oh, Hiro still hates me, whatever. And
she has a text saying we need to talk.
Yeah, so basically, he goes to his shoe locker, and the note drops, and her shitty writing says, like, we need to talk. Meet me behind the gym or something. So they meet behind the gym, and Nagi basically fucking dogezas and apologizes to Hiro, saying like, I had a lot in my personal life, and I let myself get distracted, but I've, been refocused and everything. And Hiro's like, I understand. And they're playing basketball while
it's more she was never really mad.
Yeah, she's like,
she knows, like people make mistakes. They happen. People are human.
She was like, at first I was upset and it bothered me, but then I realized like, it's okay because everyone goes through stuff. And then she confronts Nagi in a nice way, and she's like, Erica-chan is the reason why you feel better about this, isn't it? And Nagi's like kind of shocked, and that's kind of like an acknowledgement, like, I realize like I'm not the only one. But Nagi, for his part, they end up playing a little bit of basketball together. All's well that ends well with them. They're on good terms again, and Nagi is basically reinvigorated, like, hey, seeing Hiro like this, seeing that in reality she does care, and she does get flustered because there's a while they're playing basketball, Nagi does say like, hey, I am going to change your future, like we're going to be together, like I believe I can change your future. Like he reiterates that statement, and it makes Hiro get flustered a little bit. But Nagi gets home, he's reinvigorated, like I know why I love her. And
because because in the end of the first core, he's like, I like her, but do I love her, type of thing.
Yeah, and he starts developing feelings for Erica, and then he
And
starts thinking
everyone.
about the kiss that he ended up kissing his sister.
And he finds out he has a crush on all three of them.
Yeah, partial chromo, and he has a crush on 3 of them.
Yeah, and now we go back. Then we go to the latest episode.
Yes.
Erica talks to Nagi. I need enough studying. And
you didn't care about it now. Why you care about it now? You didn't give shit.
Because she was 242. She's like last
out of 242. She was dead last.
So basically, yeah, it proves that she was never paying attention to all the study sessions and all that.
And she basically said like, "Hey, like I need the study." And again, Nagi's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Just your dad." And she's like, "I can't do that. Dad says that if I flunk the test, he wants me home." And Nagi's like, "We can't have that." And so he tries.
Yeah, because that means they gotta go home.
And they gotta go home, exactly. And so Nagi at first like tries to be like a drill sergeant with her, and she gets frustrated with how stupid Erica is in reality. Even Sachi tries to help and doesn't really help.
That's more if she wanted to join the study group too. Like he helped me study too, Oni.
She's trying to get into entrance exams
but seeing how Nagi got pissed off, Sachi's like, I'm gonna go study alone. It's okay.
Yeah. And so they get into a blow up, and basically what's called Erica gets upset.
She's like, I'm gonna go back. He's like, fine, go, leave.
And that upsets Erica. And Nagi doesn't care. Nagi keeps going with studying because he's reinvigorated. He wants to beat Hiro. He's like, that's all he cares about. And so he's pulling an all-nighter basically for himself. And he sees Sachi's awake, and he's like, yo, why are you awake? And they're like,
she's sleeping in the living room.
Yeah, she's sleeping in the living room. He's like, I'm gonna sleep here. Well, why? What happened with you and Erica? Like, Erica's studying. Like, huh? And then basically you see Erica like struggling, but she's studying on her own. And her and Nagi have like a heart-to-heart about stuff. And basically
he's back to being a drill sergeant.
He's back to being a drill sergeant, and Erica's like, yes, sir, and shit, and basically trying to catch up. And before, when he was having issues, you realize like she just isn't that bright, and she acts dumb. She kind of is dumb, but it's just a harder curriculum.
She doesn't put her mind to it.
And she doesn't put her mind to it, and the school is truly for gifted children in a lot of regards.
Yeah, and he kind of bought her way in.
Yeah, basically. And so the test happens, and Nagi's there, and the sensei is like, oh, why are you here? And she's like, don't worry about that, just give her the score. And she's like, oh, you did brilliant. And the reason why she did brilliant, hey buddy, the cat jumped on me. And what's it called? The reason why she did brilliant is because Nagi's like, listen, you're stupid. You want to know why? And she goes, why? And she's like, the makeup test is basically the same questions, just in different formats. They're like, all you need to do is memorize. You don't have to understand shit. Just memorize it. And she does that, and she's good. And
the father gets told.
We cut to a scene of the father being at his corporation, and his assistant saying like, oh, she passed. And they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry that didn't work out. I know you wanted her home. And he's like, nah, I didn't mind. I wanted this.
That's more, yeah. He wants her to be able to be fine on her own.
Yep, exactly.
And the second part of this is the cultural festival.
Yes.
The Nagi's family is doing their Yakusoba.
Well, it's not a Yakusoba. It's not a cultural festival. It's just the town festival.
Okay, it's a town festival. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a cultural festival.
And they have their food vendor. They're making those noodles. They're like, we'll be right back. All you gotta do is beat your quota. You can go. You find out they're not coming back. They're just getting drunk with the other adults.
Yeah, and you find out at the beginning, like there's a part where what's it called? Where Sachi basically invites Erica, and Erica's like, "You're going too, right, Nagi?" And he's like, "Well, of course, but it's obligation because we run the truck, whatever." But we find out later on that that Erica basically let Sachi borrow one of her kimonos. She looks gorgeous, and she even got a kimono for Nagi. And they're like, well, where's Nagi? And then Sachi's like, well, don't worry about Nagi. And the reason why she says that is because earlier in the episode, I'm going back. Earlier in the episode, while Sachi and Nagi are there,
Hero
shows up. And there's a little bit of awkwardness because Sachi's jealous because Sachi recognizes Hiro's name as the girl that took her Onichan out on the date. So she gets all fucking standoffish and bitchy. And basically Hiro was like, oh, it's a bit odd. And fucking Nagi's like, oh, why are you being a bitch?
She asked him about right in front of Sachi. Like,
yeah, like, hey, you want to go around the festival later on? And Nagi's like, of course I want to. Why wouldn't I want to? Yeah, let's do it. And so she's like, all right, I'll see you later. Sachi's like, hey, what about Erica? Aren't you gonna go walk the festival with Erica, your fiance? And Nagi's like, she's good. Don't worry about her.
Hold on. What was the last thing you heard?
Nothing. I was talking. What was the last thing you heard?
Oh, no, because we heard the wheel spinning when I was talking.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, but anyway, while that happens.
Yeah, what was the last thing you heard? Because I was almost done explaining everything. What's up, buddy?
Last thing I heard was basically when Sachi got mad when basically Hiro asked Nagi out after.
Yeah, basically she got mad, like, oh, like what about Erica? Aren't you gonna go hang out with Erica? And Nagi's like, nah, Erica's good. Don't worry about Erica.
And you two are gonna hang out anyway, so it's
yes, okay. It doesn't matter. And so while Nagi is cleaning up everything before he goes out, Erica, Sachi, and Hiro meet up, and Erica doesn't realize that Sachi and Hiro have already met before, earlier in the day, and
as Hiro's like, well, so Sachi, like, why are you with her?
Yeah,
and Erica's like, oh, this is my sister.
Not realizing, Erica doesn't realize that Nagi introduced Sachi as her sister. So this confuses the shit out of Hiro. And she's like, your sister? Okay. And the gears are spinning to where she's gonna find out about the whole cuckoo triangle thing.
Yep. Dun dun dun.
Dun 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 dun. So solid storytelling.
No, I'm loving this. So
yeah, solid storytelling for sure.
Alrighty. Vermilion and Gold. My God, Lilia is thirsty as fuck.
Oh yeah, she is. She definitely wants fucking Alto's Chimpo.
Like a lot.
She wants it a lot.
But before that, we picked up where we left off with the fight with was it Chris and Alto?
Yes.
Alto wins.
Yes.
Shocking.
Surprise.
And and we meet our quote unquote non-villain, even though we know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Obsidian talking
Professor
to Alto.
Obsidian.
Yeah, she talks to Alto. Is like, so
by the way, he's voice acted by one of my favorite fucking voice actors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Takahito. Yep. He's everywhere this season.
He is everywhere, bro.
Yeah, he's Gabriel in Devil Part-Timer. He's Obsidian. Here he's fucking Uncle in Oji-san. Isekai Oji-san.
He's got another part somewhere as well. Let me go to my animes because he's definitely in another part somewhere. No.
He has a voice in Call the Night.
Yes, he does.
I guess he's one of those drunk guys.
Oh, is he? Oh shit, I didn't realize.
Probably. He's in Bastard Heavy Metal,
which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we will soon.
I think he's in Made in Abyss, is he not?
No.
Oh.
No, Bastard, Vermeil, Oji-san, Call the Night, Devil Part-Timer is all he's in this season.
I swear I heard him somewhere else. Okay, my bad. I love hearing Jiraiya's voice actor because he's always the old man somewhere. Like he's the voice actor in Black Summoner for the
okay, nice.
I love when I hear Jiraiya's voice and it's like, oh yeah, just Jiraiya. Like not realizing he's got like a billion other parts. Like, nope, that's Jiraiya. It'll always be Jiraiya.
Yeah, oh yeah, always. But yeah, Obsidian, he tells Alto basically, like, what would happen if you actually lost that duel? Like, basically, don't go picking fights.
Basically, as you see him fucking do evil shit to fucking people across the campus by injecting them.
He took one of the ice students who controls ice and basically drugged her.
OD'd her and made her OD on her own fucking magic.
Yeah, and like put her in like the chamber somewhere.
In a coma. Yeah, put her in no, she went to a room and she ended up going into a coma because she lost control of her magic. And so we hear from the student council, like, hey, yo, this is the third case in a month that somebody like lost control of their powers and fucking did that. And so someone was saying like, yo, like that's weird because it's hard to lose control of like ice. Like that's a high level thing, and that person was a high level. She was a silver square. They have broken down the different students of bronze, silver, gold, platinum squares. So she's a silver square, which means that she's like level 3. It is level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so Alto is level 5. You have level 4, which we find out in the next episode is what they're going to be testing for soon. And then you have 3 is silver, 2 is gold, 1 is platinum.
Right.
So breakdown of that. But yeah, she's a silver square, so she's a 3rd tier, which is pretty strong as it is. And so, and by the way, Chris is a gold square, so she's tier 2. Alto, a non-tier, beat a tier 2.
It was mostly because of her male, but yeah,
you know, still.
But it's still a win.
A win is a win, bro.
Yeah, and then the second half of that episode is basically Alto basically asking if Vermeil actually gives a shit about it, type of thing, or is it just my mana?
Yeah, like no, I genuinely love you, and they end up.
Well, first he asks Obsidian, like, can you love a demon or?
Yeah,
and then he explains all this. Says like, why you ask?
I'm just asking.
Yep. So is there one you found? But no, and then he eventually talks to Vermeil, and she gives him like an actual kiss without taking his mana.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, this is during the time where you had to write about your familiar.
Yeah.
Like,
well, didn't they also like? Didn't she at the end of this episode? Didn't she like rape him in the shower? Was it this episode that she raped him in the shower? I think it was this episode she raped him in the shower. Yeah,
that too. That was. I think that was before he was questioning her about if she actually cared about him or not.
Yeah,
because I know it ended in a wholesome note.
It did end in a wholesome note. Did we talk about in the previous episode where fucking he pushes Lilith's titty?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so we did go over that. All right, just making sure.
Yeah, no, that was important. So
it was titty push.
Very important. Exactly. That was the end of that episode, and we go to the next episode.
And Chris is getting her ass kicked by fucking Rex.
Yeah, and he is possessed by something.
Probably a drug.
Yeah, and he was talking about. If you get a little flashback of him about his familiar, it was like this giant egg.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell, like, basically Chris kind of takes interest in him, and there might be some sort of romantic feelings, but you see Chris is like super upset over shit. And never mind. We'll get to why she's upset in a second. Anyway, so Chris is getting her ass kicked. The scene cuts to Alto and Vermeil
basically shopping.
They're grocery shopping, and Vermeil wants
acting like a child.
Yeah, she wants basically ice cream and chocolates and candy.
She
and
wants cake,
and she wants cake. And Alto's like, yo, I'm poor. Like, I can't afford this shit. I'll buy it for you when I'm not poor. And Vermeil's acting like a fucking 4-year-old, pouting.
And it says like you need an actual diet. Like,
yeah. And so eventually Alto gets sick of it and he relents and he's like, are you going to clean the bathroom? Yes. Are you going to clean your plate? Yes. Are you going to do your chores? Yes. All right. You could buy one. And she's like, yeah. And then she basically starts to tongue fuck Alto in front of the entire fucking school, who happens to also be coincidentally grocery shopping.
Yep. And then they didn't get their cake because one of the students said, hey,
Rex's brother is like, hey, yo, something's going on. And basically says like, yo, like Rex is fucked up, kicking the shit out of Chris. So they run to the scene. Chris is all fucked up. And Rex is like, I'm glad you guys here. You saved me the time of finding you. I'm going to kill you all because I hate you all. And so as Vermeil and Alto are like, oh, well, shit, we got to fucking throw down. Let's go. We see a fucking woman. I love it's so funny the way she runs like tick, 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 tick.
The white hair girl, right?
White hair girl, yes. The student council president. Yes. Elena, the student council president, comes over, swipe with her fucking familiar, which is a sword, some sort of magical sword is her familiar. Like it has an eyeball and everything in the hilt.
And he's
wild. And Rex is out for the count. And so Rex is in the hospital, and we see them talk about like, yo, he was definitely possessed by something. There's somebody definitely doing this on purpose. These aren't accidents anymore. Like something's going down. And you see at the end of the thing, you see Vermeil look at the power that Rex like was flashing, and it catches Vermeil's eye. Like Vermeil knows something's up. But anyway, you see Chris, and Chris is super frustrated, and they're like, oh, what's up with Chris? Like, isn't she happy that she was saved after getting her ass kicked by her own Kohai? And they're like, no, like, and we find out Chris is one of those people that like likes abusing people, but hates when people abuse the people that she abuses.
Like meet it. Like she's a student.
Yeah, basically, for sure. And so, you see Alto and Lilith talking about, studying for their bronze square test.
And Vermeil actually leaves.
Yeah, Vermeil's like, I don't feel well. I'm gonna go back to the dorm. And this concerns Alto. Alto's like, oh, she's never like felt weird. And even Lilith is like, yeah, like she never leaves your side. Like, what the fuck?
But she says, fuck it. You're coming with me?
Come study in my bedroom. And later on, she's like, take off your clothes. Why?
It's important for studying, damn it.
Yeah. So anyway, as we'll get to that in a moment. But in any case, we see Vermeil walk into the dorm and she comes across Obsidian. And her and Obsidian have a talk. And Vermeil flat out says, like, hey, I know the power you're fucking with. Don't fuck with that power. You can't control that power. Don't do it. I don't care what else you do.
She told me like it's like weak. It's like weak lower level power too. On top,
it's weak low level. And Obsidian's like, oh, so yep, I think I know what you are. And so he comes up from behind her, stabs her with the fucking syringe. And overloads her power. And Obsidian's like, oh, I got the real thing now. And you see her transform into a fucking beast.
Like, this is her real form.
She's got quadruple X-sized titties with fucking demon fucking horns the size of a fucking lamp tower. Like,
fucking Minotaur type legs.
She is full satanic fucking Vermeil.
And he cannot control her.
But he can't control himself either. He's like, oh, I'm so happy. And you see Vermeil just fucking swipe her arm at Obsidian, because she still kind of has some sort of her humanity. And fucking you see like, oh my god, this power, it's the real deal. And so meanwhile, while this is happening, Alto and Lilith are studying, quote unquote, and Lilith's basically trying to rape Alto. Like, yeah, this is her time. Like, yo, I'm gonna rip his clothes off.
Like, dude, it's like, girl, not now.
I'm gonna devour his cock. And all of a sudden, Alto's sign on his hand. Alto's sign on his hand starts to burn, and he's like, what the fuck? And then the sky gets dark. Everyone's like, oh shit, something's happening. And Alto runs out of Lilith's dorm, much to Lilith's chagrin. He runs out the dorm after Vermeil, and the episode ends with Alto almost about to intercept Vermeil while she's in her truly demonic form.
This was nice.
Basically, people are gonna know for sure that she's a demon at this stage.
Yeah, it was a good.
I don't know why she can't like. How did you summon this woman? Like, I'm not really a woman for demon horns. Like, why did you summon a demon? Like, Alto's so OP that his mana is too rich for all of your familiars.
He's I didn't know this was gonna happen.
I didn't want a succubus as my fucking familiar, but hey,
I just want a familiar. This is what I got.
Instead, I got Onohole.
Yeah, she did. He did. Yeah.
You got it, Onohole. Oh, that's good shit. Good shit, pal.
Good shit, pal. $3 million worth.
$12 million worth.
No, yeah. All right. So my stepmom's daughter is my ex.
A good episode.
We get a Dato episode.
Dato Janai.
Yeah, this is basically the punishment from the panty incident.
Pantsu.
Yeah, basically go out on the date.
They go on a
and
date.
Irido was like all stylish.
He was the man of the hour.
Yeah, Yume is like, shit. He's dressed exactly what I liked.
She is weak at the knees this entire episode. Bro, if this was a hentai, like her panties would have been fucking soaked.
Yeah, if she would have tackled them, it'd be already in.
Bisho. That means soaked in Japanese. Yep. Bisho. It would have been Bisho. But no, in all seriousness, no, they go on a date. And as Matt said, Irido is everything that she wants in a man. This is perfect. He's perfect. And we basically see the reason why he's on a date is because he spoke to who's the fucking guy? Let me go click on the stupid name.
The friend?
The friend, yeah.
Kogure.
Kawanami. I love calling them by their last names. Kawanami and fucking Minami are easy. So yeah, Kawanami. Yeah, so Kawanami, he talks to Kawanami and he's basically like, yo, Minami's like all up on Yume's dick and it's annoying. Like, yo, can we get her off of her dick? And she's like, oh, you basically gotta like create like you got to show her that the brother complex is a legit thing. Like she legit loves you. And again, they still don't know that they dated. They don't know the history.
Yeah,
so,
no one knows. Yeah,
like, oh, take her on a date. I'll bring Minami with me, and we'll tell you so she can see it. So you see them in the background of their date, and Minami's like, oh, okay, I see.
yeah, because she wants Mizuno. That way she can be sisters with Yume.
Yeah, and so you see them on the date, and again, Irido's perfect, and it's throwing Yume off. Yume is like, yo, like everything that you're supposed to do, or I'm used to you doing about you being a piece of shit, like you're not. You're like everything, and it's like fucking her mind up. But then she basically goes out on her own, and she gets lost in they go to an aquarium, by the way. She gets lost in the aquarium, and she starts flashing back to when they were dating, and how she would get lost all the time, and how, like, Irido was there to like comfort her and tell her everything's okay, that he still likes her for all her flaws and everything. It was really adorable. And then you see Irido's side of the things, and you see, like, at first I was like that, and then she's like, everything that I used to like about Yume, I became to hate, and all of her bad features, I became to hate. I learned to hate them even more, and we slowly drifted apart. And I can't tell you why, I began to feel these feelings of hatred, but that's what this slowly developed over time, and then we eventually grew apart, and that's why we broke up. So he calls her, like, where are you at? And she's like, I'm lost. And she's like, well, what do you see? Like, oh, I see the sky. And automatically he knows where she's at. She's like, well, don't move. And she's kind of stuck, and she thinks to, like, the time that she did get stuck. And the time she did get stuck, they were at a festival, at one of those summer festivals, and she got lost in the festival. She was crying, and Irido came over and said, like, yo, everything is all good. Here's a coffee. And so, flashback, she's upset, and here's Irido in front of her with a coffee. And then basically they both throw, like, the fucking shenanigans out the window. They end up being like their typical brother sister self. Like, oh, you're stupid. Like, you're stupid. Like, oh, you love dick. No,
at the end he does her punishment, where he basically keeps that outfit and does all these poses.
Did you see what he was reading?
What was I didn't read what he was reading.
No, somebody pointed it out on Facebook, and I was like, no way. He was reading Tante wa. He was reading The Detective is Dead.
That's amazing.
Literally, it's the cover. It's the literal cover of the fucking of the manga. That's what he was reading.
Fuck.
That was so cool. Loki, I would have never known unless somebody pointed it out, and they pointed it out.
That's fantastic.
That automatically puts it up as well for that detail.
Yeah. Anyway, basically, he does all these poses with the book himself on the couch, and ends with "Whisper seductively to my ear when you're hugging me from behind."
And he does, and he says, "Mitsuke," which means I found you, or I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, you do.
You got me." And it was cute. That was a cute end.
And then they fucked.
And then he put a finger in her booty hole.
No, she definitely figured her pussy.
Yamete kudasai. That's how you do it, Matt. Not a fucking phone jack and an iPhone 6 fucking charging hole.
Well, when there's a hole, it's every man's job to thrust into it one way or another.
Anyway,
Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about yesterday's episode. We're gonna talk about last week's only.
Please, okay, I was gonna say.
No,
well, you gotta talk about the 2 episodes. Basically, the episode.
No, we talked about.
Did we?
Kaga buying Roxanne. It's just the one.
No, we had you skipped the week. Remember? He basically is able to buy his slave.
We did that.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't recall. Anyway, all right. So yes, this week's episode, or this week's is last week's episode.
Yeah. But basically, it was Kaga and Roxanne getting familiar with each other mostly.
Yes.
Basically, what Roxanne can call them and all this, and she's very shy, very uncomfortable. But
not uncomfortable like, "Ew, you creep, stay away from me." Just uncomfortable as in, like, she's never been free. And even though she's still a slave, she's still
like she never had like a
yeah.
owner like him like acting differently
Yeah.
or
So they end
trying
up
to be
going,
nice to her.
yeah, exactly. And Michio isn't a dick. He's not a piece of shit yet. But no, he's like, all right, like, hey, like, oh, you've been barefoot this whole time. Oh, use my shoes. And so
He's
basically,
like, do they fit? And you find out that whatever equipment they wear, it matches the size.
Yeah, which is cool. And so Michio's like, hey, so we need to get you like swords and equipment. We gotta get you like battle equipment because I'm gonna take you into the labyrinth with me. And he's like, okay. And she's like, hey, she's like, Michio's like, do you want anything for yourself? He's like, well, I only have these pantsuits. Can we get more pantsuits? And he's like, yeah, we'll go ahead and get yourself 2 pairs. Okay, cool, no problem. So they go out, they get a shield, they get some
outfits.
some outfits and some pantsuits, and basically and no, I said the shield. Okay. And Michio basically gives her one of his swords to use, so we don't need a sword, you're good there.
Yeah.
And so everything's all well that ends well. So basically earlier at the beginning of the episode, they basically get a single room that has a single bed, and the guy comes up and he's like, hey, you guys want bath water? And he's like, yeah, of course. He's like, for 2 people? Yeah, for 2 people. Yeah. And so they start by watching each other's backs. Wholesome. Obviously you get a little etchy scenes with her getting stripping down and whatnot. You see a couple censors.
And he's like, does your tail not wag? Oh, no. All it does when I do this is you just see her shaking her ass.
Yeah,
it doesn't wag on its own unless she's like really happy.
Yeah, because she's like a dog basically. And so the hair in her back isn't like a ponytail. It's legitimately coming from her back. It's growing from her back. So it's a bit odd, but Michio's like, oh, okay, cool. That's cool to know. And she's like, hey, can I wash your tail?
He's still controlling his urges.
Yeah, he's still controlling the urges. And he's like, hey, can I wash your tail? And she's like, no, I can wash my tail. She's like, no, let me. It's okay. So
like he wants to be nice. Yeah.
Washes the tail. And then he starts like, oh, I gotta wash your front, and he starts fondling the shit out of her titties. And
he's okay with it.
There's some some tension going on, and she's like, hey, there's 2 people, let's wash each other's hair. So he washes her hair, no problem, and she starts washing his hair, and you see the underneath of her titties, just like, oh my god, this is heaven. There's titties, fucking oppai everywhere. Pretty and then much. Finally, he tells her, strip down, and she does. She climbs into the bed, and he's like,
tells her to kiss her.
He kisses her, and then that was good.
And he tells her, I want you to do this every time before we go to bed and when we wake up.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, no problem. And they kiss again. She's like, one more time, and they start kissing, and they start making out hardcore. And then he's like,
he starts fondling her.
He's like, I'm gonna start touching you. Okay. And he starts fondling her, sucking on her titty. Well, let me back up. So if you're watching on Crunchyroll, you're not going to see what we're going to describe. If you're watching elsewhere, you get to see everything and hear everything. And so he's like, I want to put it in. And she's like, okay. And he puts it in, and the macaroni sounds ensue. And the clapping ensues. And the moaning ensues.
And she's gonna come.
The titties are bouncing everywhere. She's enjoying herself. She's losing her shit. And even when he comes, it is a fucking waterfall of jizz inside of this fucking girl's vagina.
Yeah, it got like this turns to a full hardcore hentai if you're watching it.
Literally, the only thing you don't see is dick and manko. You don't see it, but you hear it. And you can visualize it,
and you don't see you don't see the cum going inside her.
No, you don't, but you certainly hear it. It's a waterfall in that bitch.
Yeah, don't go chasing waterfalls. Yeah, all that happens. They have that intense moment. Wakes up
in the morning, and you see she's still butt naked. Makes out with him. Ohayo gozaimasu, Koshijin-sama. And he gets hard, and he's like, nope, can't do this. Gotta fucking
we gotta go.
Yep,
and they get ready for the labyrinth. And
that's how the episode ends. And you said, Matt, there's more macaroni noises.
Not as much.
But some.
But again, it's near the very end. And it's not... I'm sure you saw an image of her like fighting. Like you see her in the OP fighting.
Yeah, there's a so I didn't see anything in terms of the sex when I was looking up a preview picture for our
Yeah.
thread in the group, but I did see a gif of her like doing like the karate bouncing.
I feel like she was a fighter that got captured.
Maybe. You think like she lost the
And
battle and her punishment was to be a slave?
yes.
She wasn't a virgin either.
Yeah, like I feel like she was an adventurer that was forced into slavery.
Maybe.
Like probably when she started, like oh no, I guess this is
Yeah,
what
because
they
she's
do.
and she you see in the episode, like in this episode that we just described before all the sexual shit, she basically says like, hey, I got my new pantsuit. Can I use my old pantsuit to like, to take care of the sores? And she's
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
yeah.
And
She takes care of her
has
equipment. She
legitimate
knows what she
knowledge.
wanted.
Yeah, she has legitimate knowledge. Like she knew exactly. Yeah, you're right, Matt. She knew exactly what she wanted in terms of the equipment. Like she figured it out, and even Michio's like, oh, she recognizes like this is good and this is good and this is not so good, but she thinks it looks nice. Okay, whatever. And so, one of the things she does is she handles the sword. She's like, it has to look good in order for it to feel good. You look like you yawning right now. Just look like Pikachu. Anyway, no, so she like gently fucking washes the soil with olive oil to make it shine more and it looks better, etc. So she has like an ideology of what it's like to take care of your weapon and things of that nature so it doesn't get rusted and fucked up and shit. So yeah, and maybe that makes sense, Matt, what you're saying. Maybe she was some sort of previous warrior. It's pretty wild when you get the flashback in the previous episode where he's got like he's got the whole harem with him.
Yeah, and yeah, they'll eventually come.
No, I'm sure they'll come.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely come. So will he. The time has come, and so have
I. We should have co-mained. We should have co-mained with this shit. No,
we
how many
should.
do we have? We have like 3, right? 3 or 4.
We have Overlord, which we're gonna do next.
Okay.
Abyss, Recoil, Call of Knights.
Oh my god, we got so many. Yakuza,
Ayumu.
Oh my god, we have so many.
Main event. We'll get them quick.
We have 8, right? That's 8. You just named
like 6 or 7. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Let's go. Let's go Yakuza next because this will be very quick.
Yes, it will be.
At first, the first couple minutes you thought was gonna be a recap.
Yeah,
but
and then it turned into fucking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, kind of.
Yeah, and I hated it.
Yeah, you hated it. I thought it was hilarious. It was weird.
The hilarity is there, but
weird. But I thought it was funny.
No, that's right. It was starting good. I was enjoying that part, but as soon as you do the whole, and then he woke up, I automatically hate it.
Really?
I hate that cliche. I hate that fucking trope with an undying passion. It ruins everything for me. It is awful. It's like, oh, I want a do-over. The only time I enjoyed that was fucking the Twilight movie, the last one, where in the book it was an actual fucking fight where they kill each other, but in the movie it's like, oh, it never happened. It was a vision. I laugh because I fucking hate the series, but I go because fans want to kill me every time I go. So I was laughing out loud when that happened. But in an actual legit thing, I fucking hate it. Mm-hmm. No matter where, I don't care how good it is. You do that, I don't like it.
So you automatically lost a star.
It lost a star for a bit, but today's episode it got it back. So
okay, good.
Because
I can't wait to see it.
Because my next potential favorite character, and just how Kirishima is.
I love Kirishima, yeah, but Yaika is so adorable. I fucking adore her. She is like the dream child. If I were ever have a child, I want it to be like Yaika. I really do.
Well, then you better raise it then.
Yeah, if I raise it, it probably won't turn out that way.
Then you're gonna get it on you.
I'm gonna get a fucking on you. 2 + 2, Spy Family. It's 4.
And it's like, I'm putting you in home. Fuck this.
I'm putting you at home. No, Daddy. What are you thinking?
Well, come back when you come back when you know what 2 + 2 is. You little shit.
Doggy, help me. Roof.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah, Kirishima, okay, they're becoming streamers with this team. What was it? What was the name of the team?
Oh man, it was
Team
funny.
Cherry. Team Machete.
Team Machete.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They were wearing masks. They had aliases.
wait. Oh my god, it's funny you say Team Cherry. When I told you to watch, by the way, next week we're gonna review the My Hero OVAs. I've seen them, Matt has not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know right now, they are the funniest OVAs My Hero has ever done, in my opinion.
Right.
And when I said Team Cherry, there's a part in the second OVA, and it's gonna be in your head when you see it.
Okay.
It's
sure
similar.
I will.
I was gonna say it, and I was like, no, let me not. But it's similar to Team Cherry.
Yeah. Basically, they're doing live streams, how to be a Yakuza, eating spicy food, and then Sakuraga's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna be pop idols now."
Because it
And
blew
they're
up.
touring all over the world.
The channel blew up. The channel blew up, and then they were like, "Yo, we can't have this because people are starting to recognize our identity."
Yeah,
so they're
and
like, "Yo, we're sorry."
Kirishima's failing his job and babysitting Yaika.
Yep.
And basically she gets a text from like, "I'm walking home. I hope I can see you soon." And that's where he's like, "Ah," and he woke up, and it's like, eat the dick. And then he just goes to K and punches him.
Because he was singing, I think, right? Or a YouTuber or something.
Yeah. It's like, fuck this. All right.
Hilarious.
All right. Okay, it was funny till the very end.
And Matt said 2 out of 5.
And now we're back to where we were.
Now it's back to 5 out of 5.
All right, moving on. Overlord.
Good episode. Solid episode.
We get the
solid 2 episodes.
Well, we're gonna. The only thing we really got to talk about in that one is the battle.
It was a dope battle.
And then the Emperor's like, "Yeah, go Warrior King." And it's just like, dude, I'm your teammate.
Right here.
Like
we're allies. What the fuck?
Like I can hear you every word crystal clear. Well, I invited him.
And he proceeds to fucking destroy.
And he wants him in his army and all that. He says, "No, I want to fight on honor." He does that.
Mm-hmm.
Beats him. Does he bring him back? I forgot.
He does. He does.
He does.
So basically, what he does, he basically says like, "Oh, he's like they lay out a condition. They're like, hey, if I win, you join my army, okay?" And the Warrior King is like, "I get stronger through eating people. If I've never met somebody in my battles that I
want to eat your bones.
I want to eat your bones if I win." And he's like, "That'll be no problem."
Yeah.
Like that'll fucking happen. And so fucking Ainz just proceeds to fucking destroy the shit out of him easily. Kills him.
Yeah, he almost got cut. He almost got cut off guard for a second.
He got briefly. Yeah. But then he's like, "Nah, this ain't shit." And he kills him. He kills the fucking Demon King. And he goes over to the people and he's like, "Listen," he's like, "I want the greatest adventurers and I want you guys to be explorers. I don't want you guys
he talks about that,
to fight. I've got hordes of undead that are all better than you that'll fight, but I want you to be explorers, to venture into the unknown and in search of, building my kingdom, and you'll receive power and riches that you never would have dreamed of receiving in this lifetime. I can even save you from death." He pulled the fucking Palpatine. He's like, "I can even save you from death." And he does like some sort of magical spell and he brings back the fucking the Warrior King from death. And everyone is like doesn't know what the fuck to do. And as he like goes back over to, what's his name? Jerkoff?
Yeah, Jerkoff.
Jerkoff. Okay.
To Emperor Jerkoff. He goes to Emperor Jerkoff, and then
Emperor Jerkoff is like, "Let me be a vassal state." And he's like, "What? What?
You just rooted against me. What the fuck, man?"
And he's like, "Oh, I'll be your vassal state. It doesn't matter." And everyone is shocked, like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And so Jerkoff had to go to his like people. He's like, "Yo, this guy is a super genius. You just saw him fucking kill somebody and bring him back to life."
I wasn't trying to betray it 20 minutes ago, but I swear, guys, he's good. He's good, man.
Yes.
He doesn't want to lose his hair anymore. I think.
This guy, he's not losing his hair anymore. He's like, "Listen," he's like, "This guy sees through all my plans, and he's like, I'll do my best to make us as independent as possible, but we have no conceivable way to beat this guy. Why? There's no point in bothering." And so he submits a proposal, and that's where that episode ends. And the beginning of this episode shows Albedo and Demirge, our first appearance of Demirge this season. And they are going over the proposal. But first, before they go over the proposal, Matt.
What?
Oh, I was gonna say, but basically, Demirge is like, "Oh, I wanted to see Ainz Go."
Yeah, she's like, "Why?" Like, if it was important, you would contact him right away. Like, "Oh, I want to see him in person. That way, he could praise me.
He can praise me some." And he's like, "Oh, he thinks about you often, yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah, what about?" And he's like, "Well, I don't think he likes what you're doing." What? What do you mean he doesn't like what I'm doing? And he shows
That
him
you're
the
holding back.
proposal. He shows him he shows him the proposal. And at first Demiurge is like, why would he go to such a shitty country by himself, like on his own?
Yeah, the dwarf. He's gonna talk to the Dwarven Kingdom.
Yeah, he's like, why would he go there? Like, why, and he's like, he went there to set an example that, that you've been holding back. And so since you've been holding back, he had to do it on his own. And so he doesn't want you to hold back anymore. And he's like, oh my God, I will never hold back again, blah, blah, blah. And so
yeah, because I'm pretty sure he's probably scary when he's not.
Who, Demiurge?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's a psychopath. All his like schemes are genius schemes. And it's funny, like Ainzo goes like, well, let's not go that far. Let's do this instead. Oh, you're an even bigger genius than I am. All praise. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. You are a god.
I mean, he does very well in the fight against him too.
Oh yeah, well that's true.
When they did fight, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's still an axe, but still.
It's been so far. It's been so long since that.
Yeah. Still though.
Oh my God. But no, anyway, so they show the plan, they're like, oh, we'll figure it out. And so Ainzo Goal was like, oh, I'll let them figure it out. They should be fine. And so basically we see Demiurge as his first introduction. We see the first introduction of Cocytus. Cocytus returns, and he wants to be a
not seven yet. Oh, before that though. Ainz is talking to one of the lizards about the Dwarven King because he knows about him.
Yep.
And then Liz's like, when you say you want to be friends with them, you mean you actually want to be friends with them, or you're gonna go there and threaten them?
Yeah. And
Cocytus is like, hey, none of that shit. Calm down.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm sorry, he disrespected you. Please sit on me.
No, yeah. And first is like, I'll take you there, but first, like, sit up. Like, you need a place to sit if you're gonna talk to them. Like, sit on me. He's like, yeah.
Sit on me. Okay, fine, I'll sit on you.
Like,
how do I feel?
But it's like this is a punishment. It's like, but I punished out to you, and she did. Like, this is a punishment because my lizard guy talked back to you.
It's fucking hilarious.
And he's like, who's better, me or her?
Yeah, and by her, we talking about Chaltier. He brings Chaltier and which one? Which sister?
What's her name?
I don't remember. I don't remember the sisters. Well, there's a boy.
Well, one's a guy.
Yeah, one's a boy, one's a girl.
Aura.
They cross dress. Okay.
Who?
Yeah, Aura. Okay, so he brings Aura and he brings Chaltier, and we see a flashback to where Ainzo Goal is talking to Aura, and is like, oh, I want Chaltier to make up, for her misdeed, and I want her to learn. I want her to learn.
Wants her to actually do something instead of just small missions.
Yeah. She's like, oh, like basically he said like, oh, she's the most powerful keeper of the levels in Nazareth, but being the most powerful.
Apparently it's Cocytus. If you go to the light novel thing,
really?
Apparently,
I don't know. Well, they said it was in the anime. They say that it's Chaltier.
Yeah, look at scale. And so far it's Cocytus.
They say Chaltier. So anyway, so she's like, oh, growing up the best, is good, but sometimes it can be detrimental because you don't grow. I want her to grow, and I want her to observe me and observe you, and I want her to grow from this experience. And so that's why I'm bringing her along, mentor her, watch over her, make sure she does good things. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And that happens over the course of the episode, as we'll get into. Anyway, so everything, preparations are all set. Everything's good. All right, to the Dwarven Kingdom. And so they go, they make good headway in the first day. And they're like, okay, we'll stop at the base of this mountain. Okay. And Ainzo
Fortress.
Fortress! Fucking multi-tier, fully furnished fortress.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
no, I wish I had that. What the fuck, guy?
For real, right? Like, fuck Airbnbs, right? Like, fortress!
Yeah, like, fuck. I would live there instead.
For real, dude. In a heartbeat. Every day, just new fortress somewhere else.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, just go away for right now. Everything will stay the same when I go anywhere. Fuck.
Bro, I would straight up, if I could do that, I would literally go from like beach to beach across like every like place I possibly could. New beach every day.
Yeah,
Fortress.
You have an actual beach house. Yeah.
Fortress. New beach. Fortress.
Yeah. Anyway, they do all this. You see the girls talking.
Yes.
And
Chaltier basically was writing down every meticulous detail Ainz said.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to let him down again.
Yeah, and Aura's like, well, that's fine that you're keeping notes on him. That's cool, but like, are you really like absorbing what you're writing? Like, what are you really doing with those notes? And they have a back and forth, but whatever. Anyway, the next day they end up in the Dwarven Kingdom. Aura goes in, and there's not a soul except for one dwarf. And what do you know the dwarf's name? I don't remember his name.
I do not know his name.
Anyway, they meet the dwarf, and the dwarf is mining something, and Aura scares him rather. And the dwarf is like, "Oh, little kid shouldn't be in here." Here comes Ain's like, "Oh, she's not little." And oh my god, it's a fucking undead. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm the sorcerer king. Ain's Madoheka, Ain's old goal sama." And he's like, "Madoheka, oh my god." And so they end up, having a conversation, and we find out basically that the Dwarven Kingdom has moved 6 days northwest or some shit to like another town. And the reason being is this town constantly kept getting attacked by these like creatures of some kind. And we find out basically that the guy who they happen to meet happens to know about the runes that Ain's Ogol wants to go, but he said he's not the same as his father. His father is a legendary rune maker, and the village has has waned in terms of rune making because they've like gone to magic casting, and so there aren't that many rune makers left. And Ain's Ogol is like, "That's fine." He's like, "I want you to sell your soul to me, but in exchange, like I'll give you all the tools that you need, and you guys build." All the things I want you to build rune technology, rune weapons for me because I want to do stuff with runes. And he's like, "I'll give you guys, shelter, food, tools, whatever tools you need, I will provide. We'll gather up all the rune makers and we will make rune making, a thing again. And it'll be under my kingdom." And the dwarf is like, "Well, if my soul is all you need for that, I'll be happy to give it up." And so they strike a deal. He's going to be in the kingdom making rune weapons. Anyway, as this is happening, those magical creatures we talked about that were basically attacking the dwarves, they magically show up to try and kill anybody that's remaining. And so Shaltier tells Ain's Ogol praises her and says, "And your next thing is I want you to capture them all." "Why do you want to capture them all?" They're like, "Oh, so we can extract information." "Good girl, go do it." "Okay." And so she goes and does it with the ninjas, like the ninja characters that are there. That Eindogel has. They basically form like a little party, and using some fucking OP spell. What is it? Magic binding or some shit? Group binding? Some shit like that. Basically, she rounds up all the fucking people, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make you talk." And the magical creature's like, "We're not gonna talk. Fuck you. You can kiss my ass." And then what's it called? She puts on like a charm spell, like, and then she's like, "Oh my god, my best friend, yay!" And they basically reveal all the like how they're under like the control of like under the direction of some other fucking magical creature that wants to kill all the
and she's like, "Is that guy there your butler?"
Yeah, and Ain's Ogol is like, "Yes, she's my master." And Shaltier is like, "What?" And she basically had to play
just a lie.
Yeah, basically. And then I forget how the episode ended now. Something attacking somebody.
Yeah, basically, like they're at the Dwarven village now, killing everyone.
Yeah, basically.
And we were only here to kill them if they ran away.
Yeah, we're a distraction, basically. The main force is over there at the Dwarven village, and they're going to slaughter everybody.
Okay, I was wrong. It's not Cocutus. It's a character we haven't met yet. That's right.
Oh! Dude, I still have to buy my fucking, my Pandora's Actor face mask and hat.
Yes.
Still got to buy it. I got to do that, and I got to make my fucking flag for Talk to Keki.
Yes.
Goddamn, I'm tired. All right, let's keep going.
We'll make this one quick. When will Ayumu make his move?
He tried to make his move, and it didn't work out.
He did. He got a win.
He finally got the win.
But it wasn't a fair win. That was more of a handicap.
Yeah, he won with the handicap, and he went with it in the first place because Ayumu was like, "Don't you want to win? Like, a win's a win." And he's like, "Oh shit, you're right." And so he plays offensive, and he wins.
Yeah, he did this silver arrow type strategy. He read.
Not silver arrow. Like clinging arrow, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, but either way,
climbing arrow, climbing silver. Okay,
okay, it was the climbing silver strategy.
That's a very popular strategy because you see that in Naruto and you see that in other places where where shogi's a thing.
Yeah, and
Hunter,
and what you call it, Urushi. She talked about how she could have beaten it, but she didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so and this is a theme throughout this episode where there's a sensei that keeps interrupting their conversations. And so what's it called?
Also, it's also Christmas time.
It's also Christmas time, yes. Ayumu basically is like, all right, well, I promised I would ask her out after a win. And they're like, oh, there's something I wanted to tell you. Sensei interrupts. And then he's like,
Yeah,
oh.
but it wasn't asking out, but it was more asking her out for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, no, at
But-
first he
but-
asked her
but he
out, and he's
slipped.
like, I'll set up for Christmas. And so then you see this nice wholesome thing where you see them two walking home together, and you see our other couple walking home together. And they notice like the same figurines that Irushi had in her that she found when she was winter cleaning in the club room. And so they're like, oh yeah, and then Ayumu was like, never mind. And
Hey, he talked about a strategy for something.
yeah, Irushi was upset because throughout this entire episode, about midway, he realized like, oh, he's gonna ask me out. He's gonna ask me to like, let's spend Christmas together. And so she was mentally prepared to say yes and to be together. And he chickened out. And Irushi is pissed off.
Well, I don't think she was pissed. She was just like,
She was pissed. She was pissed. She walked away. She was flustered and upset when she walked away.
Then you find out it was like he really did want to ask her out.
Yeah, so and we find out because of the fact that New Year's comes. So Christmas passes, New Year's comes, and Irushi and who's her friend?
Which one?
The dark hair girl.
Maki?
Yeah, Maki. Maki, they go to the shrine for their yearly visit. I love Maki, by the way. She who she reminds me of? She reminds me of like the faster version of the slow girl from Komi.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm seeing it
She
now.
reminds me exactly of that, but she in a cute way. Like she's faster in a cute way. She picks up on shit quick. She's like, "Oh, he's here. Bye. I gotta go pee. Bye." Whatever the fuck, So, anyway, so they go to the shrine and they're talking, and then Irushi dazes off, and so Maki's like, "Oh, you thinking about Ayumu senpai or Ayumu kohai, whatever the fuck?" And she's like, "No, of course not. We didn't even see each other, talk to each other through Christmas." And as they're walking to the shrine, in the corner, who's there? Ayumu's there. And Maki's like, I suddenly have an urge to eat something. Bye-bye. And she goes away and leaves Irushi and Ayumu.
Yeah, then they spend the time together.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did that ceremony in Japan on New Year's.
Did you? Oh, that sounds cool.
It was a great experience.
Did your dream come true or your wish come true?
I didn't die from COVID, so
that's not what you wish for, though.
No, I wish I'd not die because I was literally dying.
That's what you wish for at the shrine?
No, I forgot what I fucking wished for.
That's what I said. Did your wish come true? That's why I asked.
Well, I'm married. I got a house. Yeah.
Well, good for you, buddy.
Yeah. But,
anyway,
let's go. And then he asked her out for Christmas, even though it passed.
Yeah, and she's like, it passed already. And she's like, I know, but I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. And Irushi is like, well, she's like, I'll keep my Christmas open for next year, for this year coming up. And we can spend it together.
It's cute. It's cute. It's really cute.
It was cute. It is it's very cute. It reminds me of Senpai's Annoying, but better.
Yeah, I like this more than Tsubaki because it's the same creator. So.
Okay.
You can tell by the forehead and how wholesome the girl is.
And you can also tell by the embarrassment. Like, in the episode, the boy is the one who's embarrassed. In this series, the girl is the one who's always embarrassed.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's mostly the girl with the giant forehead.
I haven't seen Takagi-san, so I don't know.
I haven't either. I keep wanting to, but for some reason I just hold up for something else.
I don't watch it because of the lolly aspect. Like they look like lollies. And I just can't.
They're junior high students. That's it.
Yeah, so they're like in like 8th grade.
They're like
7th
12,
grade,
like 12, 13.
Yeah, I just can't invest into that, dude. Like, at least be in high school. At least have like horny hormones, not just like, I'm 12 years old. I like you. It doesn't hit the same. I mean, there's levels to it, obviously. In an ideal world, we would want the. By the way, there was another one that I saw. Oh, that was creepy. You ever like look at the corner of your eye and you see like something that looks like a shadow and you freak out?
Yeah. Well, after seeing shadows, I try to kill you. Yes.
No, I just saw the shadow. I was like, "Oh shit, is that a person?" Because I was like, "Well, I would die on the air." There's proof right here. But no. What was I saying? What the fuck was I just saying?
I don't know. We gotta move on though.
Yeah, there's levels to it. You didn't go. There was one that I saw. The Frozen the Frozen King and his coworker or something, like the Frozen Prince and his coworker.
The Frozen guy, something like that.
Yeah, the Frozen guy and his coworker. That's an adult rom-com.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. But there's levels to it. Like you get the adult rom-coms, which you don't get many of. You get the high school rom-coms, which you get a lot of, and then you get the junior high rom-coms, which you don't get as many of, but it's not the same. And then you get the really creepy shit that should put you in jail.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Call of the Night.
good episode.
Good episode. Yeah, we got basically Yamori thinks he's in love with Nanakusa after seeing an older couple kiss on the bridge somewhere. They see the free drunk guys. Those guys are cool. I want to hang out with those free drunk guys. They're around all the time.
They're not throwing up.
When they're not throwing up. Yeah, it'd be fun to drink where they're like, oh, Lucky, showing off his wife.
Bro, like, what the fuck goes on in their lives that they drink every single night and get shit-faced every single night?
Well, that's the thing. In Japan, like, after work, they go to bars and drink.
Yeah, like, Matt, I can't. Like, I'm a lame during my work week. I don't do shit during my work week. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
If you're buying, I'll go. If you're not buying, I'm going home. That's it. Like, if it's on company money, I will go. If I got to pay out of my pocket, you can go fuck yourself. I ain't going.
Nah, but no, yeah, they get shit faced every single night. Like, bro, like your production must suffer.
They enjoy their time at night. I don't know what to tell you.
They get blackout drunk at night.
Yeah, but they make friends with Yamori and Nanakusa. Nazuna. Okada. Nakata.
Knock it the fuck off. Anyway.
Yes. No, she's likable, unlike him.
Yeah, that's true.
Nazuna, she goes to Yamori, like, why are you yelling? Why are you yapping about? What the fuck? And he's like, I think I'm in love with you. Here's my neck.
Right? And she's like, oh, stop, put that away. It's indecent.
Like, stop being lewd.
It's so, I find that hilarious how she, like, oh, suck on my
makes all these jokes, but
like, it's so dirty. And then she'll, like, say something like, oh, like, no, look at that stick. Like, it looks like a cock.
Well, if you say anything nice or wholesome, she'll freak out. Like,
no, I'm so embarrassed.
But she sucks his blood, and surprised to no one, it doesn't work.
He's like, why doesn't it work? Because you're not in love, you're in lust.
Yeah, like, you're in lust. You just saw a married couple make it out right there. I saw you. Don't lie.
When he said that, like, you're in lust, I expected something dirty to happen. Like she showed her pantsuit or something like that, or you see
she's
more.
40. He's like she's 40 and he's like 13.
Bro, like her fucking the way they draw her boobs like bothers me. Like they're like so misshapen. They're they're like a typical teardrop titty, but like it's so misshapen, dude.
But she's got an ass though.
And she does. She got a nice body. And then the same thing with what's her face? Akira's name. Akira.
Who we're gonna talk about now?
Her face is just like so like oddly drawn. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And you're frozen again. You're frozen. Get frozen again.
But no.
Frozen again. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I said I like Akira. She's a nice character. She's up. It's like what 12 o'clock. She doesn't wait. Yeah, it's not 4 yet.
No, so we see at the beginning of the episode. Basically, throughout that episode, you see the beginning of the real beginning of the episode, like
the class.
That she's in class and she lives her life. She's bored, unhappy. She has no one to greet her.
Teachers talking about sleeping.
Yeah, and she has no one. She's got an unloving life, and it's quite sad. Quite honestly, if they wanted to like delve briefly into a dark transition of like suicide or something, that would be not great, like literally great, but like that would be an exemplary example of what leads teens to that life of feeling that like hopelessness of like boredom and nothing. And I kind of felt that internally while I was watching this, like, wow, if she just went and fucking hung herself, like it would make sense.
Yeah,
because it's fucked. But in any case, yeah, so she goes to sleep at like 8:30 at night. It was what's it called? 18:30. No,
yeah.
Was it 8? No, it's 18:30. That's 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, and she woke up at 12.
She got her like 6 hours.
Yeah, and then what you call it? She
gets dressed. Yeah, she gets dressed and she goes to school, and she happens to see
well, she's not
Yamori.
going. Well, she wasn't going to school yet. She was just walking around, and
Oh, she got dressed and she had everything, and she's like, oh, and she's like, I was just gonna wait in front of the gate, no big deal. And when she sees Ko, and Ko's
come with me.
yeah, she's like, oh, you're gonna go see Yakuza? Nazuna. She's like, yeah. Like, okay, well, come with us, hang out. Okay. So, what is the thing? Two's a party,
Three's a crowd.
Yeah, two's a party, three's a crowd.
Yeah,
So
but they're playing video games.
Old video games.
Yeah, and then
PS1.
Nazuna wins, and she goes to Kira, like, if you win, I'll give you a kiss.
And she's like, no, I don't. I'm good.
It's like I want to play the game, but I don't want to kiss. It's like, oh, that, like, why do you kiss? It was like, that's what friends do. Friends kiss.
Okay. Well, I mean,
kiss the homies goodnight.
Kiss the homie.
He kisses the homies goodnight.
I was gonna say it's not as bad logic as kissing makes you pregnant. Fucking Amelia.
No, everyone knows it's hand holding.
Hand holding makes you pregnant.
Exactly.
Kissing gives you twins.
No one wants that. But yeah, they're all like playing games, hanging out. Akira wants to leave, but there's a thunderstorm out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're not gonna go anywhere. We're not gonna have you walk in the rain.
Yep.
And then Nazuna's like, just be here. We'll wake you. Like, once the rain stops, you're done.
You forgot that. What's it called? Eventually, Ko does let Nazuna suck his neck. And what's it called? Akira's all grossed out, like, "Ew, can you not do that in front of me? Do that elsewhere." Like she thought, like,
yeah,
they were like making out. And
that's
shit.
What made her want to leave. Yeah,
that's what made her want to leave. Anyway, and as she does that, you could see Ko is like nervous because he's sleeping between two girls, and there's genuine something between him and Akira, and Akira recognizes it, like, "Oh, are you scared that our hands are gonna touch? It's fine, I don't mind," and so he lets his guard down. They touch hands, and they have a brief conversation, and it's a nice, wholesome conversation about friendship and things of that nature. And and he's like, "I want to be a vampire." And he's like, "Well, that's fine, but you don't, as long as you're a vampire, you still come to school. Just come to school with me, And she's still trying to get him to come to school, which is still nice, but it's for selfish reasons. But at the same time, you get the understanding behind it.
Yeah, it's more if she doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah, for real. And so she's like, I'm just gonna, close my eyes, and as soon as the rain stops, I'll be gone. And so she closes her eyes and she sleeps for 5 hours.
Yeah, it's like 7 a.m.
No, it's like 10. And she's late for school, and she wakes up Ko, and Ko is knocked the fuck out because he's
and Nazuna's gone.
No, she's not. Remember, she thought she's gone initially, and as she gets up and she's going towards the door, Nazuna's like, "Yo," and then she gives a good quote. It's a very good quote, and I really agree with it. It said, "People go to sleep when their day's fulfilled. When their day feels fulfilled. Was your day fulfilled?" And she's like, "Maybe, maybe not." And she goes to school happy, and that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, she actually smiled.
She smiled. Yeah.
Good shit. I love this.
Can't wait to see today's episode.
All right. Lycrois Recoil.
This was good shit.
There's death flags all around.
Death flags?
Chisao's definitely gonna die.
You think? Oh, you think so? You think Chisao's definitely gonna die?
She's definitely gonna die. I'm getting that vibe. Every time we know more about her or anything, I think she's just gonna die, and Takina's gonna be alone.
You're getting what's her face vibes from Tantewa? Siesta? Yeah. You getting siesta vibes? Siesta, oh, yeah. Siesta.
Oh yeah. 100%. But they got a mission. Tour guide for this old crippled man.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was his name exactly?
Machi something son. Just call him Machi.
Machi, yep. Basically, they go on. Basically, that's the thing. He can't move anything.
He has some sort of like terminal illness, and he asks for like one final tour of Japan. And so they go on their tour. Everything is really good.
but before that though, they talk about Chisao's artificial heart
at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I understand what that's like. I don't have a heart. Like, it's artificial." Like, what? And she's like, "Oh, like a pacemaker?" Like, nope, the whole thing. I don't have a heart.
It's all machinery.
It's all machinery. Like, whoa, what the fuck?
Like, what
and
the
so
shit?
and it leads to some good revealing information we'll get to momentarily. Anyway, they go on their trip. Everything is good. Things are going well, and then an assassin,
Silent Jin,
comes into play, and basically we're told that Silent Jin killed this guy's family, and the more they recognize him, who's the black guy?
Mika.
Mika's like, oh, that was my partner like 25 years ago.
Yeah, like we're learning about these other characters too as he's progressed.
Good storytelling, very good storytelling, and so
Mizuki gets knocked out by Jin.
Yeah, so we start seeing a really cool, like, chase scene in essence where they're trying to save Machi-san, but Jin is like
Taka fights Jin first.
Yeah, so Jin's trying to legitimately kill them, and so Takina fights him first, and things go well. She loses her gun in a struggle, and then in a fall, I should say, and she's trying to escape. She gets grazed by a bullet. She's bleeding pretty heavily by the graze, but she's she'll be fine. It's just a flesh wound. It's just bleeding heavily, and then Chisato is confronted. Like the guy's like, "Oh, that's Jin, isn't it?" Machi's like, "It's Jin. Like that guy killed my family. Like yo, I want you to kill him." And Chisato is hesitant about it, but regardless, she wants to save Takina, so she goes after. We see another great gun battle happen between Jin and Chisato, and Chisato wins. Bro, puts a whole clip into his chest, point blank, of those like stun bullets.
Yeah,
knocks him unconscious. And so the guy, Machi-san, was like, "I want you to kill him. He killed my family. Kill him." Basically, again, Palpatine. There's a theme of Palpatines in these series.
Dude.
But anyway, Chisato's like, "I don't want to take a life. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm a Lycrois. I'm not really a tour guide." And the machine that's supposedly holding Machi-san alive stops.
Was not him. And
you learn, so they're like, "What the fuck is happening?" So they call the cleaners who are supposed to take care of their things, and we find out that there was never a guy named Machi-san. That the guy
he died a while ago.
The guy in the wheelchair was somebody who died already. The machinery was just like kind of fake or whatever the case was.
Someone hacked it to talk through it.
Yeah, and he was wearing these goggles the whole episode. Those goggles were VR glasses that the hacker was able to see the information and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty fucking wild. And there was also shooting somewhere. Oh no, we also forget. We didn't talk about the fact that what's it called? One of the police detectives that visits the shop often was with his kohai, and they found bullets and they found traces of gunshots, and his kohai is like, "Yo, this wasn't an accident. This was fucking terrorism." And the guy's like, "Yeah, well, all these accidents are really terrorism by reality." He's like, "What do you mean? They've been covering it up?" They're like, "No, he's just being told he's being ordered to cover it up by somebody. He's not doing it himself necessarily." And they're like, "Well, what the fuck? Why don't we do it?" And they're like, and they see Chisato earlier in the episode, walking the guy, and they see like this festival happening, and they're like, as long as people can live in peace and be happy, then it doesn't matter who's covering up what, because that's why they cover it up in the first place. And then as they were down, or before they got up to the surface, while they were down there, they were confronted by some people and they ran away so they wouldn't get caught. But basically, there are people that are starting to realize that there are bigger things going on across the city.
Yeah, even
including that terrorist event.
Even Mika talked to Jin for a bit.
Yeah, and they find out like, what happened to your leg, and they have a conversation. And then the end of the episode is pretty raw. There's an exchange of information between the terrorist group, and there's a Lycrois following a Lycrois. We say Lycrois, but it's really Lycrois. There's a Lycrois following him. And
you forgot before that when Chisato and Misaka, they had that moment together. And
they're laying together and no one's around, because earlier in the episode, Takina asks Chisato about her heart, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't have a heart, whatever. There's no heartbeat." And Takina touches her chest, and she's like, "Yo, can you not grab my boobs in public?" And they're like, "All right, whatever."
This time, she lays on her chest, saying,
they're alone. Yeah. She leaves. She leans her ear onto her chest, and she's like, "Wow, there's really no heartbeat." And it warms Chisato's heart, and like, "Yep, cool, isn't it?" And it's like the two girls share a moment together, and that's nice.
Yeah. Now we get to one of the Lycrois girls.
Yeah, the episode ends with there's an exchange of information between the terrorists. The Lycrois girl is behind one of the terrorists, whips out her gun, and then the main terrorist comes out, runs her over to injure her, and then a bunch of terrorists come out. And they empty the clip in this girl. They empty the clip, bro.
Poor girl.
There was, I swear to God, at least 8 guys what is it? 8 guys and then like 10 shots per fucking per gun.
Oh yeah, she's Swiss cheese.
They riddled her with bullets. Riddled. She did. In fucking broad daylight. Well, not broad. It was nighttime, but you know.
Nighttime, yeah. It was
crazy,
nighttime.
Crazy. But good shit.
Right, we're almost there.
I know.
Maid in the Abyss.
We're what's it called? We're hitting midnight.
Yeah, we got Maid in the Abyss, Sasaki, and Maid Event.
The main event should be Sasaki, to be honest. Well,
Okay,
no. What's hold on? Our main event is Engage.
Yeah.
You know, we should have started off with Sasaki. Then we should have gone.
I know. I also forgot about this.
Yeah.
So we'll make a co-main.
All right, that's fine.
We learn a little bit about Reg.
Yes, we do.
With Faputa.
This is a dark episode.
These last two, yeah, but we're not gonna talk about the last one too much, but yeah, half it was Reg and Faputa, and Faputa recognizes Reg, but Reg doesn't recognize her. And yeah, she was like asking all these questions, all this, and she's not really giving him info he wants. Like to learn more about himself. She's just mostly rambling.
It's midnight. Good morning.
Yeah, that. Like most of that shit, and it's like it got to the point where Reg.
Oh, so that's what I was telling you. It's midnight here. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
That's what the fuck she said.
She probably did somewhere. She again. She rambles.
All right.
Yeah, it's midnight now. Good morning. Fuck you. But all that's going on, it led to the point where Reg actually leaves. But we're not done yet because Nanachi finds out that Mitty is alive.
Yes, she gets taken over to the other sage's house. And we find out, yes, Mitty is alive. And basically, it's wild. And we find out how she's alive in the other episodes, which we'll get to. But they share a sad moment between each other, and it's really wholesome. And that's all we see from them on that episode.
Yeah, and you find out Bondru is one that brought her there.
No, that's the other episode.
But the guy mentioned there's a guy of a mask that brought her there. He said in that episode,
and she recognizes his Bondru. Anyway, and we'll get to
a
deeper explanation.
And then with Rico,
yes, Rico
diarrhea.
She stops diarrheaing, and she starts venturing around trying to find it, and she sees the guy who fucked the I guess the
she smelled the hollow, but she smelled the diner.
Yeah, she smelled the diner, and then the hollow comes over, and she starts getting freaked out, but the hollow still just wants to be friends, like, you know.
Well, actually, no. She goes there, she talks to the chef.
No, hollow was with her. They walked there together because she was walking. And then she was walking. She got caught into a trap between some. All right, let's back up. All right, so I remember. Yeah, so she was walking there. Yeah, she was walking. She smelled the food, and she's like, "Oh, this smells really good." So she's walking towards it, and she gets caught up in a trap where like these evil hollows or these dark hollows were trying.
Yeah, they bring her over. Like, oh yeah, that's where your friends are.
Yeah, they were trying to basically molest her and
No, they wanted the pet.
Yeah, what's his name again?
Minnow.
Meno, Menta, fucking
starts with M.
Yeah, I agree. It's Menta.
Also, goddamn, leave him alone.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Menya.
There we go. Thank you. So, and they wanted to get with Menya, and then who saves her? Ma. The pink hollow, yeah. The pink hollow that got fucked up by trying to fuck up Menya. Anyway. They become homies, and we find out later on in this episode that basically that Ma kind of like some hollows will choose companions, and so Ma has chosen Rico as a companion, and you know they end up being cool. Whatever, that's cool. So anyway, they go over to the diner, basically like this food place, and they find the food tastes good. It's really spicy food, and they try to talk to the person, to the cook. And the cook speaks Japanese. And do you remember the cook's name? Because I don't.
No, I do not. I don't think they said her name.
I don't know. It's a woman, yeah. So the cook gives her the food. Everybody, they eat the food. It's good food. It's spicy food. And they're like, oh, how do you know the language? They're like, oh, there's a few of us. Like the guy over there. He's one of the great sages. Huh? And he speaks Japanese. And we don't get much information on him, but we get an introduction, and then he goes on her day. Rico, she stays after the diner closes, and Rico's like, I need a favor, and she's like, what's that? She's like, can you teach me the language?
Well, that was in the last episode. We forgot you're missing Velo, the first adventure.
Oh yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
the one with
the redhead.
no,
Eliko.
That's the end. That's toward the end of the episode. I was gonna get to that. We did miss. We did miss.
I was saying the language was yesterday. Last week she was talking to him and said you might find your friends in the pit because that's where the people that are new to the area go.
No, she got that information afterwards.
I am telling you.
She asked. She's like, can you teach me the language? Teach the language. And she's like, by the way, where do you know where my friends might have gone? And she's like, and then she said the pit. And then they go into the pit, and then that's when we see the first adventurer, which you just ruined.
I would say, I am telling you, she learned the language today.
Well, used today as in like freaking.
I know, the latest episode.
That was again. We're skipping. We skip.
I was trying to tell you, like they went to the pit. She learned the language after.
No, she did not learn the language after the pit. She went over and saw fucking. Oh my god, no! Shut up. Let me fucking tell it. I'm telling you. I'm doing it in the correct order. You did remind me that we did skip Reg meeting the tall guy. What's his name? Do you know? The one that was with Fapata.
Fucking what's his name?
As Matt's looking that up. Basically, we did skip Reg. Gabu? Gabaru. That sounds like the fucking guy from what's it called? From Slime. Anyway, so Reg is chased, and was he chased in the previous episode? He was chased by that thing, like the dragon.
Basically he was trying to find his way back. He saw the dragon.
Yeah, and he got chased by the dragon, and then so we see Gabaru, and Gabaru picks him up and tries to point him in the correct direction. They have a conversation. We find out Reg is a sort of informational unit, right?
Yeah, they're both the same in a sense.
Yeah, they're like cousins in essence. And so they're basically called, like, there's a official term, and I'm not giving it the correct term, but they're like an informational unit. We find out that the creator or whoever of the Abyss, we find out the creator of the Abyss put these informational units on each layer of the Abyss, and that they would talk to each other and communicate things that they saw or things that are happening, etc. But he said that communication ceased centuries ago, and Reg is like, oh, you know the creator? Who's the creator? And he's like, no, I don't know who the creator is. We were not given that information. We have to take you somewhere where you can regain your memories, regain your data. He said, regain your data. And so that's where they leave off with that. And so then we see basically, again, as I mentioned, so Rico stays in the diner after everybody leaves, asks to get taught the language. She gets the basic languages down. We find out their language is basically combinations of different words and different meanings. Like if they say like fuba or whatever the fuck, it means like 80% one language, 10%. Sorry, 80% one word, 10% another word, 10% another word, and you combine them, and that's how you think. So she gets a little sheet. She's able to communicate a little bit better, and then she's like, "Hey, by the way, where are my friends? And do you know where my friends are?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I don't know where your friends are, but I think she was talking about Reg. Reg might be in the pit. Go in the pit." And she's like, "Oh, people can't go into the pit. Like people that are from the village can't go in the pit because it's, you know, it's basically their curse. If they go in the pit, it's their curse. But there's nothing about people that are not from the village." So they go into the village, and she goes in with Ma, and Ma's fine until the very end, where Ma throws up fucking green shit because it's straining and suffering. But in any case, they go into the pit, and they find the black figures from the balancing system, and they surround Rico and Ma, but they aren't doing anything. They're gentle. And as they continue, Rico hears a voice talking to the animals in the language, and he goes over and sees a naked human. And that naked human, as Matt said, is the very first adventurer. And so she has a discussion with her, And it's a little awkward at first because it's the first time she's seen a human in centuries. And so Riko asks, like, yo, how did you get here? Like, why are you hooked up to these fucking black apparatuses? And she goes, you know, I was greedy, and the village is the way that it is because of me. And so this is my punishment. And Riko doesn't buy the fact that she's a bad girl. So she basically frees Riko because she tells Riko, like, hey, you should be able to free me if you just pull on the string and say release, like, you know. And so she does that, and she's like, I don't believe you're a bad girl, like, I think you're good, come on. And so she basically releases her from the balancing system. And at this point is when Ma throws up, and they're like, oh, let's go, because, you know, that poor creature is straining. So they go up, and they're like, oh, like, let's try and find my other friends. And then they're like, hey, let's go to the other sage's house. And so the first adventurer is like, hey, I can't go in there because I'm gonna get in trouble if they find out that I escaped my punishment, so I'll stay outside. And Riko's like, okay, no problem. So her and Ma go into the adventurer's house, and they see Majika there. And they see what's her face,
Nanachi?
Nanachi. Sees Nanachi there, and they see fucking what's it called? And they see Midi, and they're like, oh my god, Midi. And so Riko recognizes immediately by looking into Midi's eyes that that Midi is the one that was with her. And so she credits Midi for saving her as part of that process. But then she sees Nanachi asleep, trying to wake up Nanachi. Nanachi's not waking up, and she's like, what happened to Nanachi? And the sage is like, Nanachi wanted to be with Midi and wanted to stay with Midi forever. She gave up her entity, her self, to be with Midi. And so they're like, what the fuck? And so she's like, oh, how did you get Midi in the first place? And that's when we find out a Bond Druid had come to the 6th layer many times and had Midi there. Apparently he was able to recreate Midi, but he wouldn't give up Midi, wouldn't give up, wouldn't give it up, wouldn't give it up, wouldn't give it up. And eventually the sage, what did it give up? Like 50% of its body, 20% of its innards, like 10% of its mind, some shit like that, as a negotiation, and was able to receive an exact copy, including the soul of Midi. So this Midi that's there is the original Midi's dead, but this is basically a shadow clone, including its soul, of the original Midi. And so this sage now has Midi and has Nanachi in its possession. And Riko's like, well, I want both of them. What can I negotiate? And so the sage is like, nope, I want your entire body. And Riko's like, you're being too greedy. And sage is like, yeah, I know. So she's like, well, what do you want? And she's like, oh no, she's like, at first she's like, how about this? I'll give you my fingernails and all my hair that I've like spent great time like cutting. And she's like, it's not enough. And she's like, in addition to your hair and fingernails, I want what she says, she's like, I want 50% of your guts.
Basically, I want you basically pick one of these.
Yeah.
Both your eyes, both your legs, or your digestive system.
Yeah. And that's where the episode ends off. Wow.
Yeah.
Does that sound more familiar, Matt?
I'm not going to argue, but I'm going to say we both just fucked up the whole order. Not you too.
Somewhere some fucking fanatic is like throwing their phone saying, fuck these fucking clowns. Where do they live? I'm going to shoot them up.
I'm going to, when we're off the air, I'm going to go skip like a fast forward button when we're done here on both episodes.
Okay. And you're going to see that except for the one I skipped the thing. I think that's
yeah. Now, I will tell you every minute or so, like every couple of minutes, what we skipped.
Okay.
From episode 4 and 5. You're going to be on with me. We're not going to do it on the air. We're going to do it after the air.
All right. Anyway.
Moving on
to the co-main.
Sasaki and Miyano.
It was so wholesome.
I was so happy to see
it's so hard. You know, truth be told, I guess with gender norms and societal norms, it's hard to say that gay relationships are wholesome. Not hard, but like, I don't know. So maybe like someone like me who's not part of the spectrum.
Hollywood makes them too sexual.
Yeah, like it's odd for me to say that anything that's like homosexual or anything in that spectrum is wholesome, but there's nothing wrong with it.
That's why I love Simon, because that was a wholesome, homosexual movie.
Yeah, so I mean, but I truth be told, like I said, when I saw it, everything about this was so wholesome and cute. It was adorable.
Yeah. And again,
Like,
I was,
it's
I
so
was
easy
I,
for you
again, I was happy with the OP. Again, I love that OP.
It's very. I do like that OP as well. It's very easy to forget, especially with the way that Mia-chan is so feminine. It's easy to forget that it's two dudes. Like it really looks like a really like it looks like a really like straight guy who's really the gayer of the two, and a girl who's really a guy. You know, that's the dynamic you get. And so, but no, everything about this was fucking wholesome. Even the parts with our new characters, which we'll get into, it was very cute. It was such a good show.
And again, the episode is simple.
It made me want a season 2 even more than I already would have wanted.
We know we're not gonna get it.
Probably not. Well, we're gonna get a movie, you said, right?
Yeah, we're getting a graduation movie.
Yeah.
So we'll get that, and we're getting a spin-off OVA of Akira and Taiga.
Is it? I thought it was supposed to be a spin-off of Hirano and Keg is his name.
I will double check.
I swore you said it was Hirano and it might be just
I thought it was about the president, but it's not. It's it's Hirano and Kagira, so which is Taiga and Akira, his boyfriend. It's that, and then the graduation movie. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted one about the president, but who knows? We might get it. We might not.
What's Hirano's lover's name? Keg? What's his
Akira.
name? The other name.
Akira Kagiura.
I don't recall.
The guy at the gym class.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Akira.
Akira? Okay.
Yeah.
He called him something else. Like
Kagiura.
Kagi.
Yeah.
Kagi-kun.
Yeah, Taiga and Kagi.
Okay, there we go. Taiga and Kagi. So hold on, Kagi is with Hirano though. No. So does he not get with Hirano and he gets with Taiga?
Taiga is Hirano.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Taiga Hirano.
Hirano and fucking Kagi.
Taiga sounds better.
Taiga reminds me of the fucking short Sunday. Big difference between tall ass gay Hirano and fucking short, stuffy, fucking bitchy fucking Taiga. Big difference.
Yeah, small lolly girl. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I have my preference, but whatever. We digress. Anyway,
she's a lolly. Come on.
Fuck.
A lolly that beats the shit out of you.
Hey, you know, whatever. Hey, we hit the 3-hour mark. It's been a while since we did that.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a while. We usually hit the 2:15, 2.5.
Nope, not today, motherfuckers.
We got a lot. That's why.
God damn it. Anyway, all right, let's get this going. So basically, the episode starts off typical day in the
discipline section.
Yeah, the disciplinary committee section, and then a student busts in and is like, "Oh, I'm so upset. I lost my keychain that my girlfriend gave me. Like, where did you leave it? Oh, it was by my bike rack because I use it for my bike key and I don't have it." All right, and so the first disciplinary committee lost and found committee is founded, I should say. Yes. And so everybody goes out and search along the way. Before that though, as they're going off searching, what's his face? Sasaki and Kurosawa have a conversation. Kurosawa sees Sasaki in the hallway, and she's like, "Hey, I have a question." And he's like, "Okay, what's up?" And she's like, "Hey, are you and Miyano dating?" And at this point, Kurosawa doesn't know anything about the fact that Sasaki's asked him out.
But I think this episode is supposed to be before.
It is before.
Okay.
It is before. Yeah, this happened basically in between the season.
Yeah.
So basically, he's already seriously asked him out, and Miyano's like seriously considering it or still trying to figure it out. So, and that's why the episode is titled before Miyano knew his feelings or some shit like that. Anyway, so he's like, "Oh, are you going to go out with him?" And she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Nah, yeah, but no, like whatever." Like he's kind of like deflecting it. And he's like, the reason why I asked is because I think it would be good for you guys to date, but it's not my business. But you both have helped me very much, so I'd be supportive of whatever you decide, which is very nice of Kurosawa to say. And so at this moment, Miyano comes like, "Oh, Kurosawa, Sasaki senpai, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, we're talking about math."
Yeah.
I'm just fucking random. Like, "Oh, okay, math, cool." And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Like, "Oh yeah, like Sasaki's good at math."
And Sasaki's like, "No, the fuck I'm not."
Like, yeah, he's smarter than me, and I'm the best at it.
Yeah, he's like, "I thought your good grades are good, but okay, cool." But anyway, they're like, oh, what are you doing, Mia-chan? Like, oh, we're doing the lost and found. You want to come hang out and try and find this fucking keychain? Okay, sure, why not? So everybody tries to go find the keychain. They share a couple wholesome moments together, and then everybody
basically we find out what happens.
Yeah, we find out what happens eventually. And so they all meet up at the bike rack. They're like, oh, let's go over to the gym. They're like, all right. So they go to the gym, and at this point, Hirano gets abducted by Kagi-kun. And Kagi-kun, you know something? Kagi-kun is the most gay character I've seen out of the entire bunch.
He's a Zoomy, but not a beta.
Dude, like he is like, bro, like full pouty face. Like, I want to spend time with you. Like, I don't care about the gym.
Don't they share a dorm or something?
Supposedly, yeah. We learned in the series that they share like a dorm room or something together. He's like, I just
why can't he wait till fucking after school?
Because he's in love with the boy. He wants more chimpo. Wants more chimpo, bro. I'm sure they share chimpo.
Well, I'm sure they do, yeah.
More chimpo, bro. But no, so like I said, he's the most gay of the entire bunch that I've seen. But their dynamic is really adorable. Like, he is so feminine, it is like watching a woman, except it's a guy with a dick.
Yeah, and you get to see more of Hirano's top side too.
Dude, yeah, his cute side. He was very cute. And he was like, and he acts, he acts like the man in the relationship. He's definitely the top, but there's something to that dynamic where he gets like, kind of like flustered, he stutters a little bit. Like I said, it is a really, really nice dynamic between them. And so they have conversations. Eventually they depart.
Yeah, Kagi got dragged back to the gym class.
Yeah, and they depart because Kagi almost gets attacked by a cat, and Hirano saves him. And there's a theme with cats throughout this episode, and there becomes a major plot point toward the end with the cat.
Yeah, and it's all Basano's fault.
It is. So basically, as we keep going, there's another moment with Sasaki and Miyano. They're in the hallway, and they pass the window where they were at the end of the cultural festival, which is after the cultural festival. So they pass the window. Miyano stops and starts thinking, and Sasaki's like, hey, listen, I want to be honest with you. I wasn't talking to Kurosawa about math. I was talking to him about the fact that he asked me about us. And he's like, did you tell him anything? And he's like, no, I didn't tell him anything. They're like, oh, I guess he's onto our feelings. And they have a nice, quiet, wholesome moment. And then as they're talking, Sasaki grabs Miyano and pulls him close to him. And of course, Miyano's flustered, and they're like, what happened? And it's because a cat jumped into the fucking lap of them. And so he basically saves Miyano from getting basically hit by a cat. The cat has some sort of key in its hand, and they're like, what's this? Or in his mouth.
Council key,
yeah, and it's the student council key. And they're like, what the fuck? And earlier they saved somebody else. Oh no, it was Kagi and Hirano. Kagi was about to be
Sasaki caught two cats.
No. The other one was Hirano and Kagi, because the same thing happened. And the first time with the cat, Hirano saved Kagi and got the key in its mouth, and it was somebody else's fucking like keychain or something. And so the second time, Sasaki saved Miyano, and it had the student council key. And so they get back to the disciplinary committee room, and they're like, "Oh, we found the shit." And they're like, "Really? Where was it?" And they're like, "Well, funny you say that." And basically, the student council president, who happens to also be the president of the Animal Appreciation Club, has been feeding stray cats in his spare time. And so eventually he got caught. He got in trouble. But he basically made up the committee, the Animal Appreciation Committee, so we can continue to feed the cats. And he's going to be asking the school to adopt them, which is very wholesome. But in the process, he lost the key, and the cats have been hanging out. And so the cats have been running roughshod across the entire school, taking things and moving things and things of that nature. So they find the student's key, and they're like, oh, well, now the student council key is missing. He's like, oh, you mean this key? And they find the key, and it's a funny scene with everybody. And basically the disciplinary committee has a bunch of shit they have to delve out to people that are missing stuff. And it's a cute episode, and it ends on that note.
There we go. Yeah, very cute. Man about time. What?
What'd you give it?
I gave it like a 3.5.
I gave it a 4.
Yeah, it was simple, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It was very light. It was more about Taiga and Kagi I cared about.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely the development. Definitely want to see more with them. Like they seem like so gay. Like I said, it's just like it's just an odd dynamic. That's literally what I felt. I was like, Sasaki and Miyano, you get lost in the fact that Mia-chan is so feminine, even though he's a dude. But like what's his face? Kagi is like the fucking tall basketball player. Hirano is, masculine in his own way. Like this is to me, this is truly an exemplary form of like gayness in its entirety with the show. Not a bad thing. I'm not bitching about it. I'm just, throwing it out there. That's what I got.
All right, main event.
Main event of the evening.
Engage kiss.
First time we're doing Engage Kiss. Even though Sasaki Miyano is going to be our cover.
No, I'll probably give it to Recoil or Engage.
No, give it to Sasaki.
We already put him in the cover.
For this season? No.
I meant in general.
Fuck, all right, fine. You can give it to Engage. Give it to Engage, and then we'll do like that course when it becomes super hot at some point, I imagine. Anyway, Engage Kiss. Boy, what a last couple episodes, eh?
Yeah. Fuck. Where do we begin?
Episode 4.
What happened in episode 4?
Yeah. So at the beginning of episode 4, we see a demon hazard, and basically they're able to capture the demon hazard. The demon hazard ends up being a mafia member because, of course, there's gang members and shit in this town, and so they're trying to investigate who it was, why he became that way, trying to unveil like who's doing what, and the mafia member who happens to be the demon cast gets killed, and that shakes up everything. And throughout this process, as they're trying to investigate, Shu and I'm sorry, not Shu. What's her face? Kisara and Ayano, they get closer to each other because of their internal struggles with Shu. One day, as what did they? They were just hanging out. No, they were just walking or something, right? And no, there was tension. Let me phrase that. There was tension back and forth, and you've seen the tension throughout the season, but the tension kind of comes to a head when Kisara decides to stalk Ayano a little bit in terms of where she's at. This leads to them hanging out, meeting up, whatever. And so eventually they meet up in like some like diner, and they end up having dinner together, and they have a girl to girl conversation. And basically Kisara admits to Ayano like, hey, Shu, as wants to like, find his family, but you don't know the depths like that he's willing to go to. Like, yeah, he went with and Ayano's like, yeah, he went with a demon. And they're like, yeah, well, we give each other power, but and as this is happening, the detective and the black guy, who was his like foster parent, basically are having their own conversation. And the detective is like, no matter who it is, no matter what the scenario is, whenever a demon associates itself with a demon must always take something from the human. It's a leeching relationship. And as this conversation is happening in a different time frame earlier in the day, Ayano and Kisara are having this conversation, and they're like, basically they had like a back and forth. No, I definitely remember now. Let me back up. So, what's it called? Shu and Ayano have a conversation. They're trying to investigate whatever, and Ayano brings up a memory, and Shu doesn't remember. And Ayano just loses her shit. Like she becomes emotional, upset, runs away. She's crying under a bridge in the rain. Kisara happens to notice her and comes up to her and says like, why are you crying? And Ayano's being standoffish because it's not her business. And Kisara reads off the exact memory that she had talked about. And Ayano's like, how do you know that? And she's like, I know everything about Shu. All the memories of Shu I know. And everything he doesn't remember, I remember because I have them. And he's like, what? So they have a conversation over dinner, and basically Kisara admits to Ayano, like, hey, like Shu's using my power, I'm using Shu, but his sacrifice is his memories. Like we've come to like the realization, like, hey, like he's gonna lose all of his memories of everything in order to like find out what happened to his family. And so this upsets Ayano. Ayano's like, how could you do that? Like, how can you love a man who's not himself? And they're like, it doesn't matter as long as, and she's like, it doesn't matter as long as I see him like accomplish his objective. That's all like that matters at the end of the day, no matter what. And Ayano just can't disagree, or she can't agree with it. It is what it is. Throughout this process, basically, what's up, buddy? A new demon cast gets set in, and it's the wife of the girlfriend of the old demon hazard. and she's a fucking crazy demon hazard. She's able to go through fucking mirrors and slices up motherfuckers everywhere. Basically, she's getting revenge on all the guys that did her man wrong that ended up being his death. And so that leads us into episode 5. Episode 5, basically the demon cast tries to attack Ayano. Kisara ends up saving Ayano, but the demon cast gets away. And then we find out basically that the demon hazard is trying to basically go after Ayano. That's the last person that she's trying to kill. And so they put her away in like, some sort of, what, buddy? What? Cat's bothering me. And puts her away in basically some sort of like witness protection somewhere else in the city. And so she's, whatever, by herself, whatever the case is, blah, 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 blah. And Shu has a conversation with the detective. And basically the detective buys him food, but confronts him like, hey, like, how did you know that information? Because that didn't get out into the public. Like, it was only 15 minutes. There's no way that leakers would be able to leak that information. So either you've got somebody at the very top or something else. And so basically he ends up admitting like, hey, I'm using like some unknown source to get my intel. Stop. Don't fuck up my fucking chair, motherfucker. Anyway, you're using some sort of unknown like source for that. And he started basically saying like, hey, so about the accident that happened, right? And he's like, yeah, it's in textbooks and stuff. And they're like, no, the accident that killed your parents, this is really what happened. And he goes through an explanation about how they basically treated like this infection like it was like a picnic, and then some explosion happened in the mine, sucked up everybody there, and he was the only survivor. But then over the course of time, in order to make sure that it wasn't some sort of like, in order to the public not to know that demons exist, they blamed his father for some lax protocol or some shit, or like suicide bombing or something, some crazy fucking mess. And so basically they blame his father for that accident happening. And so Shu's like good name is turned to shit because of it. And so basically the detective's like, hey, instead of relying on someone you don't know or you can't see, why don't we rely on each other? Rely on me. You can see me. You can touch me. You can talk to me. And Shu becomes a little emotional. He's like, wow, you're going to really believe in me? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, all right, cool. So they
That's all he ever wanted.
Huh?
That's all he ever wanted.
That's all he ever wanted, was someone to believe in him. And so you see Kisara drawing like this cute little fucking caption of him. Like,
like a comic, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a comic. It was kind of cute. Anyway, so the episode continues. Like, some other shit happens with one of the guys that they were chasing after. He ends up getting killed by somebody. And that's inconsequential until probably the next episode when we'll find out more. But the second part, which is the more major issue, is Shu ends up visiting Ayano in like this place. So actually, let me back up. Ayano gets a visit from her mom. Mom drops off clothes and food, and they have a candid conversation about Shu. And they have a candid conversation about Shu's objective, and Ayano's mom lets her in on like some of the mental capacity behind Shu's like do what he does. And she mentions to her like, yo, we'll never be able to comprehend what he's thinking or what he's going through, because only he can understand what he's going through after that tragedy, and it's his responsibility and his duty to try and accomplish what he needs to accomplish. And we're just pieces of that accomplishment in some capacity. And it opens up Ayano's eyes very much. And keep in mind, in the previous episode, she mentioned like, oh, we're never going to agree, so I'm never going to interfere, or I'll let Kisara and Shu, like, I'll let you guys do whatever you're going to do. I'm not going to interfere. I'm not going to do anything. And so this was until Shu randomly visits her, and they have a conversation, and they have a real heart-to-heart about stuff. And Shu mentions to Ayano like, hey, I'm going to tell you something that like I've never told anybody. And Ayano's like, it's bullshit. Like, that girl knows everything about you. Like, she steals your memories. She's like, no, he's like, I'm gonna let you know. He's like, I think my sister's alive. And she's like, what? And so he ends up explaining like, I've been having dreams about my sister for months. And the timeline of when he started having the dreams was a few months before he initially quit the Ayano's agency. And they mentioned like, oh, maybe it's a possibility that Kisara is getting into your mind and fucking up your memories in some capacity. But I constantly have these dreams that she's reaching out to me. And so, in one aspect, you can think like, hey, maybe she's a demon. On the other half, she might be alive, searching, begging for her to see her brother.
Yeah.
So at this moment, Ayano, because there's a rumor basically she can't be around people because eyes are reflections, and we find out, as we said, that the demon cast goes through reflections,
And then she's a
so,
target.
and she's a target. So she basically puts her hand over Shu's eyes and makes out with him, and
It leads to
Shu was like, "What?" And then Ayano's like, "This will be the last time," and so Ayano does it again. They start making out. They end up having sex,
yeah,
which is crazy.
they stripped, they fucked.
They had sex, and then we cut to a scene where the demon cast is there, and we see the demon cast is there, and then we see Ayano, or no, sorry, we see Ayano try and run away. We don't see Shu anywhere, and we see Kisara come save Ayano. Ayano and basically Kisara headbutts Ayano in anger and was like, I can't believe, whatever. Like she's super pissed off that Shu fucked Ayano. And so they have like a little bit of a back and forth argument, but then Kisara goes to like save the day. We see Shu there, and Shu is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, whatever the fuck, da 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 da." Kisara is like, "I'm gonna go all out, like I need your power." And he's like, "What?" And so basically she fucking bites his tongue, like makes him bleed, and fucking sucks out as much power as he can from their little makeout session. She comes over, there's a battle that happens. And throughout this battle, as as Ayano and Shu are together for a second, Ayano asks Shu like, "Hey, about what just happened?" And Shu's like, "What happened?" And it makes Ayano very upset, and she's like, "Never mind." Shu goes, "Hey, stay here. You're good. Me and Kisara will take care of it." Eventually, the battle happens. Solid battle. They win, and that's that. The episode goes into its credits while the scenes are still playing, and so the next day, as Kisara is coming home from picking up groceries for Shu is talking to the detective, and he's smoking a cigarette somewhere else. And Kisara and Ayano
basically it was more of they found a dead end again with
they found a dead end again, yeah. But they basically said also like, "Hey, I've narrowed down the search significantly with your information you've given me, so I appreciate it." And then, as I said,
they have suspects now.
Yeah, they have suspects. And so while this is happening, Ayano and Kisara have a conversation, and basically what I said previously when she said he didn't remember what happened, what's it called? Kisara sucked out that memory from Shu, and so Shu doesn't remember the last time he had sex with Ayano, but Kisara knows. Kisara has it all in her head, sees everything, and it makes Kisara very upset. And Ayano has this like smug look on her face, and like and Kisara's like, "I thought you said you never interfere, you never do anything," and she's like,
"Well, he doesn't
remember. I'm not," but he doesn't remember. And so, basically, like you said, Matt, she basically is
she's making memories that she knows Kisara won't like.
Yeah.
That way she can take those out instead of his old memories.
Yeah. She basically said like, "Hey, like I'm gonna,
you're not going to kill him.
You're not going to kill him. I'm going to keep butting. I'm going to keep interfering." And as you said, basically replace the memories that you want with the memories that I'm going to give you. And all the memories that I'm going to give you are going to be memories that torture you because you love him, but I'm fucking the man, or I'm going to be with the man that you love because I love him too.
Yep.
And that was pretty fucking raw. That was great storytelling.
I love her.
Kisara. I'm Team Kisara for sure. Or I'm sorry, not Team Kisara. Team Ayano.
Yeah,
I'm Team Ayano. Wrong person. My bad. Go, man. It's 12:30.
Yeah, we're about done. So
we're about done. Thoughts?
Closing
recaps?
What?
I was gonna say the same thing. What are your closing thoughts?
Great week.
Strong week. Ecchi week. Lots of ecchi.
Sex in 2 shows.
Yes. Lots of death.
Lots of death. Death flags. Lots of action.
Funny. Yep.
We got whatever category we had, it fit it.
It was good. It was a good week, dude. No doubt. Zero doubt. Great week.
Alrighty, we talked our cake. We had our cake. We're full of cake. We're tired. You can follow me on Twitter at DamianPhoenix12. Follow our Facebook. Our Facebook.
Facebook, huh?
Eat the Cake Anime. Join the group. Tell us how you heard about us. To say, talk to Keki. We'll give you a shout out. We'll say thank you. And follow our Twitter at Talk to Keki. We have a link tree there where you can find your favorite local podcasts, like I fucking iTunes or whatever it is now. Mm-hmm. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and
you name it, we're there.
Yes.
Twitch, YouTube. Search us up. You'll find us.
Yeah, we're on YouTube too. Somewhere.
Yep, you'll see the live version of this. If you weren't watching now, you'll see us on video. You can see all our shenanigans.
Yeah, we got video and audio on YouTube.
Yes, we do.
You can follow. We thank W2M Network for editing and hosting, and we want to thank Chairshot Radio for hosting us on their Chairshot Radio Network. Always use your head. And that's it for me.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at SHOSTOPPA24. That's Showstopper24. You can follow me on Instagram at AI_anime24. That is my anime Instagram. You'll find daily updates from me in terms of the shows that I've been watching, in terms of recaps and things of that nature, as well as other anime stuff that I may post. You can follow me on my podcast Instagram at podcast.senpai. As Matt said, all of our socials have link trees, so you can find all of our other endeavors. Shout out to my man Andy with the MMA for Marks podcast. We're planning to start that up again pretty soon now that my friend is going to have good internet. So hopefully we'll get that on the road. I found out from my other buddy, B. Ronan, with the Orlando Tragics. You know, it's kind of not on our plans right now. He kind of does do it when he wants to do it. So you won't hear me plug that for a while, but shout out to him, I guess, for a final time. You can check out my previous podcast with him on my link tree as well. You can follow me on Analyst at analyst.co/SHOSTOPPA2409, Showstopper2409. And you can follow us also on our Talk to Keki Instagram. Forgot to mention that. Most important, at TALKTHEKEKI. That's Talk to Keki. Again, with updates from our show on there as well. Again, as Matt said, reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk to you. Happy to shout you out. Happy to collab with you in some capacity. Just let us know you're listening. We appreciate that. We want to know that you guys give a shit, because we do this for people that give a shit. Because, you know, and at the end of the day, if we're the only two that give a shit, at least we have some fun doing it. Even if we're dead tired right now, 12:40 in the evening.
Yeah.
Morning. Whatever you want to say.
Alrighty. Till then, arigato, anato faku, and sayonara.
Sayonara, minasan!
Bye.
Bye.